Chapter 470. But to lure this person, he couldn't wander around blindly. Because this was too deliberate, it would instead arouse suspicion. Furthermore, he couldn't be in the city, because that would make the mysterious war sect worry. Therefore he had to go outside the city. Shwa! Qin Feiyang opened a teleportation gate and descended into the sky above a dense forest. Next, he took out the image crystal and quickly activated it. Very quickly, a short figure condensed. It was Huang San. Qin Feiyang. Huang San was slightly startled and said with a flattering smile. Senior brother Qin, what orders do you have? Qin Feiyang said, I am currently in a dense forest south of the city. Help me spread this news. Why? Huang San did not understand. Qin Feiyang said, don't ask first. In short, don't deliberately spread it. Pretend to accidentally spill the beans. After the matter is done, you will benefit greatly. Huang San said. Then I have to find a reason for you to be outside the city? Qin Feiyang thought for a moment and said, just say that I have just mastered a new battle art, and am secretly practicing it outside the city. Understood. I'll do it right away. Huang San nodded. Qin Feiyang also put away the image crystal and began to look for vicious beasts to practice with. He still believed in Huang San's ability. Moreover, this matter wasn't that difficult. Half an hour passed. Qin Feiyang killed his way into the depths of the mountain range. None of the vicious beasts below the 7-star War Emperor could stop him. Why isn't he here yet? He stood in the air above a mountain peak, his brows filled with doubt. Suddenly, accompanied by a loud beast emperor, a huge black tiger rushed out from the mountain stream. It was more than 10 meters long, and its millstone-sized eyes flickered with an astonishing ferocious light. Whiz! It rushed into the sky, stood in front of Qin Feiyang, and shouted, Human, leave quickly! Qin Feiyang sized it up and sneered. You tell me to leave and I have to leave? You're courting death. The black tiger was furious. Its ferocious aura rolled out in all directions. It opened its bloody mouth and rushed toward Qin Feiyang. What a powerful aura! Qin Feiyang's pupils contracted. This beast's cultivation was definitely not lower than an 8-star combat emperor. Whoosh! However, he did not retreat. Instead, he advanced towards the giant black tiger. The man and the beast began to fight in the void. The terrifying waves of battle shook the surroundings, and blood dyed the sky red. The battle lasted for several hundred breaths. Qin Feiyang pointed his finger in the air. The ultimate! An invisible force swept out, and the giant tiger's skin and flesh immediately split open. Roar! However, this did not frighten it. Instead, it made it ferocious. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed, and he decided to play with the black tiger slowly. Because, if the mysterious War Master really came, then the battle fluctuations here would definitely attract him over. Time passed by slowly. Half a quarter of an hour had almost passed, but the mysterious War Master still had not appeared. Qin Feiyang was about to lose his patience. Guiyuan's sword art. Annihilation. Qin Feiyang roared. Red sword chi emerged, condensing into 10 sword shadows, and slashed towards the giant tiger. However, at this moment, a terrifying aura burst out from the ground. Whether it was Qin Feiyang, the giant tiger, or the 10 sword shadows, they were all imprisoned in the void. Is he here? Qin Feiyang's heart trembled. He was no stranger to pressure. He could immediately tell that this was the pressure of a war master. Whoosh! Following closely, a dazzling battle chi, along with rolling killing intent, surged out from the mountain stream below. He really came. Break for me! Qin Feiyang's eyes lit up. With a hysterical roar, he forcefully broke free from the shackles of the pressure and entered the ancient castle. Immediately, he looked at Fatso and said, immediately send a message to Uncle Yen, and let him inform the mansion master. Fatso nodded. At the same time outside, the battle chi roared, and the giant black tiger was torn to pieces on the spot. Blood stained the sky. Below the mountain stream, a black figure stood in the forest. Looking at the place where Qin Feiyang disappeared, he could not help but frown. You can't escape forever. Let's wait and see. He muttered in a low voice, opened a teleportation door, and was about to leave. Swoosh! At this moment, Qin Feiyang appeared out of thin air again and shouted, which bastard is hiding in the dark and sneaking an attack? Come out and die. You still dare to come out? The black figure was surprised. With a wave of his hand, another battle chi rushed towards Qin Feiyong. Are you a turtle? If you have the guts, come out and fight fair and square. If I, Qin Feiyong, take a step back, I'll be your grandson. If you don't come out, you'll be my grandson. Qin Feiyong shouted coldly. At the same time, he took a step forward and dodged the battle chi. You're courting death. The black figure's eyes revealed a cold light. He turned into a ray of light and flew into the sky. Why is it you? Qin Feiyong was stunned and turned pale with fright. Surprised? The black figure sneered. Qin Feiyong said in shock and anger. What deep grudge do I have with you that you have to deliberately kill me? The black figure said. Hand over your ancient castle, the potential pills pill formula, the dagger and the nether devil flame, and I'll give you a quick death. So you're coveting the treasures on me. Qin Feiyong suddenly realized and frowned. Then how do you know my whereabouts now? The black figure said. This is all thanks to your friend Huang San. If it wasn't for him spilling the beans, I wouldn't have known that you were already outside the city. This bastard really has a big mouth. Qin Feiyong was extremely angry, and said in a deep voice. Who the hell are you? The black figure said indifferently. Is it that important who I am? Qin Feiyong said, even if I'm going to die, you should at least let me know why I'm going to die. The black figure pondered. Qin Feiyong also held his breath. But in the end, the black figure shook his head and said, You'd better go and be a confused ghost. Qin Feiyong's face suddenly showed a trace of disappointment, but the next moment he sneered. The black figure frowned. What are you laughing at? Qin Feiyong said, You're too naive. Do you really think that Huang San accidentally spilled the beans? The black figure was startled, and a deep sense of uneasiness emerged in his heart. Qin Feiyong said, Let me tell you, all of this was deliberately arranged by me in order to lure you out. What? The black figure was shocked. He didn't say half a word and angrily rushed towards Qin Feiyong. You're indeed very smart. It can even be said that you're the most difficult person I've met so far. But so what? In the end, didn't you still fall into my trap? Qin Feiyong smiled coldly and waved his hand. The lion-headed eagle and Dong Zhengyang appeared at the same time and shouted, Hold him back. The man and the beast didn't talk nonsense and immediately rushed towards the black figure. How could this be? The black figure was extremely surprised and bewildered. Wasn't Dong Zhengyang a 9-star combat emperor? When did he break through to War Master? And that lion-headed eagle, wasn't it Ren Wushuang's pet? But why was it here? Qin Feiyong sneered. Are you surprised? The black figure's eyes darkened. I already guessed that before you came to kill me, you would inquire about the whereabouts of Yan Nanshan and the others. So I didn't look for them. And Dong Zhengyang is a 9-star combat emperor. You wouldn't pay attention to him. The lion-headed eagle is also an 8-star combat emperor, and it has always been outside the city. You wouldn't have thought of it, so I asked them for help. One wrong move, and you'll lose everything. Today is your doomsday. Qin Feiyong shouted. Pay with your life for my Dong family's clansmen. Dong Zhengyang shouted. His aura soared into the sky as he crazily rushed towards the black figure. The lion-headed eagle also returned to its original form. It was dozens of feet tall and was filled with murderous intent. The black figure glanced at the man and the beast, then looked at Qin Feiyong and said, I admit, you're really amazing, but if you want to stop me with just the two of them, dream on. He pointed his finger in the air, and the battle chi roared. The terrifying power shook the mountains and rivers, and blasted towards Dong Zhengyang and the lion-headed eagle. Following closely. He waved his hand and opened a teleportation door. Dong Zhengyang shouted, Lion-headed eagle, you block the battle chi, I'll go and hold him back. All right. Lion-headed eagle nodded, and like a meteor, it directly crashed into the battle chi. Boom! With a loud bang, lion-headed eagle was sent flying. Its huge body was torn open, and blood and flesh splattered everywhere. Clang! At the same time, a black iron chain appeared behind Dong Zhengyang, vibrating with an ear-piercing metallic sound. This was his fighting soul. Crash! As soon as the iron chain appeared, it was like a giant python, cutting through the sky and heading straight for the black figure. The black figure was about to enter the teleportation door. The black iron chain arrived in an instant and wrapped around the black figure's waist. Dong Zhengyang said, "Although my fighting soul doesn't have the slightest offensive power, it's still easy to hold you back. My special ability. Immobilize." Suddenly, the black iron chain emitted a dark light, and the black figure was immediately immobilized in the void. "Damn it!" The black figure's expression changed, and he said angrily, "Dong Zhengyang, although I destroyed the Dong family, I was forced to do so. The real culprit should be Qin Feiyang." "Cut the crap!" Dong Zhengyang shouted angrily. "Even now, you're still trying to sow discord. You're really lousy." Lion-headed eagle charged again, and a feather appeared on its back. The feather was 1 meter long and as thin as a cicada's wing. It looked as if it was cast in gold, and its entire body was golden. Golden feather. Destroy! With a low roar from lion-headed eagle, the golden feather shot toward the black figure's lower abdomen like an arrow. "Damn it!" The black figure's eyes darkened, and he roared, "All of you go to hell!" Boom! A huge beast shadow appeared behind him as well. It was a white crane. Chirp! With a sharp cry, its sharp claws grabbed the black iron chain. With a loud clang, the iron chain broke on the spot. Dong Zhengyang immediately spat out blood. "Bastard!" Seeing this, lion-headed eagle cursed in its heart. With a thought, the golden domain turned in the air and blasted toward the teleportation door. Boom! The teleportation door instantly turned into ashes. The white crane's eyes flashed fiercely. It spread its wings and grabbed the golden feather, which shattered on the spot. Puff! Lion-headed eagle immediately spat out blood. The black figure suddenly turned around, looked at the two men and the beast and sneered, "Seeing my fighting soul, all of you must die today." Whoosh! However, at this moment, 10 figures appeared out of thin air. They were Yan Nanshan, Wang Hong, and the other great commanders. "It's you, Zhao He." When Wang Hong saw the white crane, he was instantly enraged. Boom! A terrifying aura surged. He took a step forward and charged toward the black figure. "Zhao He, why are you doing this?" Third young Master Chao and the others were also furious. They turned into streams of light and surrounded the black figure. "You're all here." Chapter 471. Wang Hong rushed forward, his big hand like an eagle's claw, grabbing at Zhao He, and shouted, "Don't talk nonsense, take him down first." The other 8 commanders surrounding Zhao He also immediately swarmed forward. For a moment, battle chi surged in this place, and the power of battle art swept in all directions. Dong Zhengyang and the lion-head eagle tactfully retreated, because they could not interfere in the battle of the 10 commanders. Swish! Yan Nanshan landed beside Qin Feiyang and said in a deep voice, "I didn't expect it to be Zhao He." Qin Feiyang said, "I didn't expect it either." But he was very puzzled. Since it was Zhao He, why did third young Master Chao and Xueqi say that Zhao He was with them yesterday? Yan Nanshan also noticed Dong Zhengyang and frowned. "Feiyang, why are you working with him?" Qin Feiyang said, "Fortunately, I'm working with him, otherwise I wouldn't be able to trap Zhao He." Dong Zhengyang's battle soul was actually able to trap Zhao He. This kind of innate ability made him feel very incredulous. Yan Nanshan looked at Dong Zhengyang in surprise. To be able to trap Zhao He, it seemed that this monster of the Dong family was really not a simple character. He turned to look at Qin Feiyang and smiled. "With the 9 commanders here, Zhao He won't be able to escape even if he has wings. Now you can breathe a sigh of relief." "No." Qin Feiyang shook his head. "What do you mean?" Yan Nanshan was surprised. Qin Feiyang said, "Have you forgotten what happened yesterday?" After being reminded by Qin Feiyang, Yan Nanshan suddenly came to a realization. Yesterday, they could have captured Zhao He, but a mysterious force suddenly descended and saved Zhao He. Today, that mysterious force would probably appear again. Yan Nanshan asked in a low voice, "Could it be that Zhao He has accomplices?" Qin Feiyang said, "I don't know either, but we have to be careful." "Where's the old man?" Yan Nanshan shook his head. "He only asked the 9 commanders to come. I don't know what he's doing now." Qin Feiyang frowned. At this moment, a painful scream rang out. Facing the 9 great commanders, Zhao He did not even have the strength to fight back. Not only was his fighting soul destroyed, but his body was also covered in wounds. Furthermore, the mask on his face had also shattered, and his true appearance was exposed to everyone's eyes. Qin Feiyong said, "Seniors, please don't kill him." Wang Hong said, "We know." The 9 commanders charged forward once more. Zhao He was already at the end of his rope. Qin Feiyong, don't be complacent. Sooner or later, you will fall into the hands of others. Zhao He roared hysterically, his eyes filled with venomous hatred. Then I'll wait. Qin Feiyong sneered. Boom. However, before he could finish his sentence, the mysterious power appeared again. Who? Wang Hong and the others were furious. The eyes of Qin Feiyong and the others also lit up as they scanned the surroundings. But as far as he could see, he didn't see anything suspicious at all. Zhao He, on the other hand, was overjoyed. But at this moment, an old figure flew out from the peak of a mountain below. It was the Academy Master. With a wave of his hand, a supreme power surged and blasted towards the mysterious power. Boom! Accompanied by an earth-shattering boom, the void began to distort. The Academy Master also took a few steps back, his face pale. But his eyes were like torches as he scanned the mountain range below and shouted, "Who is it? Don't hide like a coward." However, there was no reply. Wang Hong and the other 9 commanders also took the opportunity to take down Zhao He. Everyone waited for a while, but the mysterious power didn't appear again. Strange. When did such a powerful existence appear in the spiritual state? Qin Feiyong frowned. Swoosh. The Academy Master took a step forward and landed in front of Qin Feiyong, sighing. This person is mysterious and unfathomable. I'm afraid it won't be easy to catch him. In fact, after receiving the message, he rushed over immediately. However, he had been hiding in the dark and didn't show himself. His goal was naturally to capture this mysterious person, but unfortunately, he still failed. Qin Feiyong pondered for a while and raised his head to look at Zhao He, who was caught by Wang Hong. His eyes flashed. Swoosh. He took a step forward and landed in front of Zhao He, saying, "Tell me, who is that mysterious person?" Zhao He said, "I don't know." Qin Feiyong sneered. "He saved you twice. How can you not know? He should be your accomplice." "I said I don't know, so I don't know. Today, I've fallen into your hands. Kill me if you want. Bring it on." Zhao He stared coldly at Qin Feiyong. His eyes filled with hatred. Zhao He doesn't look like he's lying. Then why did this mysterious person save him? Qin Feiyong furrowed his brows. He couldn't figure it out no matter how hard he thought. The Academy Master glanced at Qin Feiyong, then at Third Young Master Chao and Xueqi, asking, "Do you know your crime?" Their eyes trembled as they hurriedly said, "Sir, this has nothing to do with us. Please investigate." The Academy Master said, "Then how do you explain yesterday's situation?" Third Young Master Chao said, "This subordinate can't figure it out either, because Zhao He was indeed with us yesterday, chasing after a War Master Realm beast." Xueqi was also puzzled, but she suddenly thought of something and shook her head. "No, he wasn't with us." Everyone looked at her suspiciously. Xueqi said, "At first, Zhao He was indeed with us, but later, we split up to chase after that beast." Yes. I remember too. That's indeed the case. It seems that Zhao He took advantage of this time to return to the capital to commit crimes. Third Young Master Chao said. The Academy Master looked at Zhao He and said, "What else do you have to say?" Zhao He said, "The winner is the king, the loser is the thief, what else can I say?" Swoosh. Dong Zhangyang landed beside the Academy Master and bowed. "Academy Master, he killed countless members of my Dong family. I killed him with my own hands. Please fulfill my wish." "No, you should let me deal with him." Killing intent flashed in Qin Feiyong's eyes. The white-eyed wolf had almost died in this person's hands. This blood debt had to be paid. The Academy Master looked at Qin Feiyong and Dong Zhangyang, pondered for a moment, then turned to Wang Hong and ordered, "Take Zhao He to the prison first." Academy Master. Qin Feiyong and Dong Zhangyang spoke at the same time. The Academy Master said, "There's no need to say more. This old man has his own decision." Yes. The two bowed, but their eyes were filled with unwillingness. Swoosh. Wang Hong opened a teleportation gate and escorted Zhao He to the prison. The Academy Master also left with the other 8 commanders. Yan Nanshan comforted, Fei Yong, since the academy master did this, he must have his reasons. Don't take it to heart. He's the academy master. Do I dare to take it to heart? Qin Fei Yong snorted coldly. Sigh. Dong Zhengyang sighed deeply and looked at Qin Fei Yong. Our cooperation ends here. If there's a chance to kill you in the future, I won't be polite. Be careful. Qin Fei Yong said. Anytime. Then we'll see. Dong Zhengyang sneered and opened a teleportation gate to leave. Yan Nanshan frowned. Fei Yong, did he take the 9-chew yellow dragon pill to break through to War Master? Qin Fei Yong nodded. Yan Nanshan said angrily. Are you stupid? He's your enemy, you're raising a tiger, do you know that? With Qin Fei Yong's talent, it wouldn't be long before he could catch up to Dong Zhengyang. But now, Qin Fei Yong had personally helped him step into the War Master. Wasn't this playing with fire? It's fine. Qin Fei Yong said with a faint smile. Although Dong Zhengyang had stepped into the War Master first, he had not opened the door to his potential. Furthermore, Dong Zhengyang did not have a perfect battle art. This was the difference. He was confident that he would be able to catch up to Dong Zhengyang very soon. Yan Nanshan glared at him helplessly, and said, Forget it, I'm too lazy to talk to you. What are you going to do next? Qin Fei Yong said, Help White-Eyed Wolf repair his sea of consciousness. Yan Nanshan said, Then you'll have to look for the palace chief. I'll return to the sacred hall first. If you need anything, send me a message. Qin Fei Yong nodded. After Yan Nanshan left, the lion-headed eagle said, Brat, I've heard about Ruffian Wolf. Since I have nothing to do now, why don't I accompany you? Qin Fei Yong pondered for a moment, and said, Send the potential pill to sister first. If I need your help, I won't be polite. All right then. The lion-headed eagle smiled, spread its wings, and quickly disappeared into the horizon. Mysterious man. Qin Fei Yong retracted his gaze and glanced at the mountain range below. A cold light flashed in his eyes, and he entered the ancient castle. Fatso immediately said angrily, Boss, this is too unfair. Zhao He committed such a big mistake. Why is he only imprisoned? Qin Fei Yong said, Then tell me what can we do? Let's go assassinate him and avenge Brother Wolf. Fatso's eyes flashed with murderous intent. Qin Fei Yong sighed. Old Master knows our characters and guessed that we might do this, so he won't let us succeed. What the hell is this bastard old man doing? Fatso frowned, so angry that his body was trembling. Lu Hong said, Calm down, the palace chief must have his reasons for doing this. If it doesn't work, we'll ask directly. I believe he'll tell us. Qin Fei Yong nodded. Fatso looked at Wei Zhongyang and said, It's over, and he's no longer of any use. Shouldn't we get rid of him? Don't kill me. Wei Zhongyang's body trembled, and he hurriedly knelt on the ground, begging. Qin Fei Yong, I'm just a cripple now, I'm no threat to you. Please be merciful and spare me. Spare you? Qin Fei Yong walked up and sent Wei Zhongyang flying with a kick. He stomped on Wei Zhongyang's stomach and sneered, If I wasn't prepared beforehand, Yi and Aunt Xue would have been killed by you. Do you think you can still live? Wei Zhongyang's eyes were filled with grief, and his entire body was drowned in despair. Qin Fei Yong said, But don't worry, since you're so cooperative, I'll leave your body intact and let you rest in peace. Sigh. Wei Zhongyang sighed deeply, closed his eyes and said, Then come. This way of dying was better than dying without a complete corpse. Qin Fei Yong took out the Chang Xue, and with a light wave, cut off Wei Zhongyang's neck. Next. Chapter 472. In front of the mansion master's courtyard, Qin Fei Yong appeared out of thin air. The mansion master sat alone on a stone bench, basking in the sun and sipping tea, looking extremely relaxed. Seeing Qin Fei Yong appear, he chuckled and said, This old man knew you would come. Come in. Qin Fei Yong walked into the courtyard. The mansion master asked, Want a cup? Qin Fei Yong said, I'm not as free as you. The mansion master held the teacup, took a sip, and shook his head with a smile. I'm already so old, if I don't enjoy life, I might not have another chance. Qin Fei Yong was slightly taken aback. What did he mean? The mansion master put down the teacup and smiled. What do you want to know? Qin Fei Yong asked. Why didn't you kill Zhao He? The mansion master smiled. You're such a smart person. How could you not think of the reason? Qin Feiyong frowned, lowered his head and pondered for a while. Then his eyes suddenly lit up. You want to use Xueqi to fish out that mysterious person? That's right. The mansion master nodded, his old eyes flashing coldly. I won't allow anyone to cause trouble in the spiritual state. Since this person helped Xueqi twice, he should think of a way to save Xueqi. Old master, you're really smart. Qin Feiyong cupped his hands and smiled. The resentment in his heart also disappeared. The mansion master said, compared to you, I'm still far behind. You made up the fact that the two elders of the Dong family are still alive. Qin Feiyong smiled. If I didn't say that, would Xueqi take the bait? What a cunning brat. The mansion master shook his head and laughed. Originally, everyone thought that Qin Feiyong would give up after the Dong family was wiped out and the clues were cut off, but they didn't expect him to immediately throw out another bait. This kid's mind was truly terrifying. Qin Feiyong chuckles. His complexion immediately becomes serious as he says, Old man, where is the person you said can help the Wolf King repair his sea of consciousness? The mansion master said, the land of ruins. What? Qin Feiyong turned pale with fright. The prefecture master sighed. I won't hide it from you. The person I'm talking about is my child, Xueqi's father. So it was him. Qin Feiyong was shocked. He frowned and said, but isn't he already dead? The manor head asked in return, who saw his skeleton? Qin Feiyong shook his head. Ran Wushuang searched the ruins for more than 20 years, but he still couldn't find this person's skeleton. The mansion lord said, if we didn't find his corpse, it means that he might still be alive. Qin Feiyong thought about it carefully, then looked at the manor head with a strange gaze and asked, Old master, you can't be thinking of asking me to help you find him, right? I really can't hide anything from you. That's right. Although Xueqi hasn't been able to find her for decades, you are different. You are more attentive and capable than Xueqi. This old man believes that you will be able to find it. Of course, you don't have any other choice right now. Because to save Ruffian Wolf, you can only find him. The manor head chuckled, as if he had Qin Feiyong in his grasp. Qin Feiyong lowered his head and pondered. A moment later, he looked up at the manor head and nodded. All right, I'll go. But I want to ask, can I destroy the ruins? The manor head suddenly stood up and asked in surprise. Why would you have such a thought? Qin Feiyong said, because the ruins shouldn't exist in the first place. Those who deserve to die shouldn't be alive either. This old man doesn't agree with your point of view. Every place has its reason for existence. Just like people, everyone has their own destiny. Moreover, although the people of the ruins are all wicked beyond redemption, there are also kind people. If you destroy the ruins, wouldn't they die for nothing? The manor head asked. Yes, there are indeed kind people, but do you know what kind of life they live? Do you know how cruel the conditions there are? Once, I met a child in the ruins. He asked me if I was thirsty. He looked innocent and cute, but the water he gave me was poisoned. Think about it, what kind of environment would make an innocent child poison someone? Qin Feiyong asked. The manor head went silent. Although Qin Feiyong's words were cruel and heartless, they were the truth. Qin Feiyong continued. Rather than letting them continue to live and suffer, it's better to free them as soon as possible. The manor head shook his head. No matter what, this old man doesn't agree with killing them all. Qin Feiyong smiled faintly and said, that will depend on your decision. The manor head pondered for a bit, then sighed. How about this, you go to the ruins first? As for this old man will have to seriously consider it. Very well. Qin Feiyong nodded, then asked, what does your son look like? The manor head waved his hand, and his battle chi surged, condensing into an illusory figure. It was a middle-aged man about 1.8 meters tall, neither fat nor thin, and his weather-beaten face looked extremely resolute. This person's appearance was average, but he had a very obvious characteristic. There was a crescent-shaped mark between his eyebrows, as if a white gem was inlaid on his skin. The manor head said, do you remember it? Qin Feiyong nodded. At this moment, a guard hurriedly ran over and shouted, Manor head, someone wants to see you. Qin Feiyong was stunned. What's going on? It's just someone who wants to see you. Is there a need to be so anxious? The manor head was also very confused and asked, "Who is it?" "Lu." The guard stammered and couldn't say anything for a long time. "Who is it?" The manor head frowned. The guard took a deep breath and said, "It's Lu Xingchen." "What?" Qin Feiyang and the manor head exclaimed. "How is that possible? Isn't Lu Xingchen already dead?" Qin Feiyang asked. "Did you see it clearly? Is it really Lu Xingchen?" The guard nodded heavily and said, "Yes, I saw it very clearly." The manor head said, "Let him come to see me." "Yes." The guard replied respectfully, then turned around and left quickly. Qin Feiyang looked at the manor head and asked, "What's going on?" The manor head shook his head and said, "I don't know either. Back then, he did kill Lu Xingchen, but why did he suddenly appear?" Soon, a young man in purple walked over. He was about 25 or 26 years old, with an imposing appearance, sharp eyebrows, and an extraordinary temperament. Who else could it be but Lu Xingchen? Lu Xingchen stood outside the courtyard, bowed and said, "Greetings, Grandpa Ren." The manor head said, "Come in." Qin Feiyang's eyes were firmly fixed on Lu Xingchen. Lu Xingchen walked into the courtyard and said with a smile, "Brother Qin is also here." Qin Feiyang nodded and didn't say anything. He just wanted to know whether this Lu Xingchen in front of him was the real one or a fake. The manor head took out a heaven's eye stone, placed it on the stone table, and said, "Press on it." "Yes." Lu Xingchen walked up, stretched out his arm, and pressed on it directly. But after a long time, the heaven's eye stone didn't move, and Lu Xingchen didn't change either. The real one. Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled. "Grandpa Ren, I know you're very confused. Why didn't I die?" "Actually, I don't know why either. When I crawled out of the grave, I also felt puzzled. And I also found that my cultivation is still there. I guess the heavens took pity on me and didn't accept me." Lu Xingchen bowed and said, "Your cultivation is still there?" Qin Feiyang and the manor head looked at each other, their eyes full of disbelief. Back then, the manor head personally crippled Lu Xingchen, and Qin Feiyang also saw it with his own eyes. But now, not only did Lu Xingchen come back from the dead, but his sea of qi had also been repaired. This was too bizarre, wasn't it? "Grandpa Ren, I'm here to apologize to you. What happened in the past was all my fault. I hope Grandpa Ren can give me a chance to turn over a new leaf. Besides, I'm the only one left in the Lu family now. Grandpa Ren, can you bear to see the Lu family die? As for my engagement with Wu Shuang, since it's already been annulled, I won't think about it anymore. I just want to stay alive and continue to stay in the city. And Brother Qin, I'm deeply sorry about what happened in the past. After this narrow escape from death, I've seen through everything. Fame and fortune are just a thing of the past. Brother Qin, I sincerely hope you can forgive me." Lu Xingchen bowed and said with a sincere expression. Qin Feiyang frowned. The manor head said telepathically, "Let's observe the situation first." Qin Feiyang nodded. This matter was too bizarre, and it would take a while to figure it out. The manor head looked at Lu Xingchen and said, "Since you know your mistake and have died once, let's forget about what happened in the past. As for your next destination." The manor head pondered for a while and said, "Let's go to the inner palace." "Thank you, Grandpa Ren," Lu Xingchen said happily. The manor head's eyes flashed, and he said, "But before you go to the inner palace, you and Qin Feiyang should go to the ruins together." Qin Feiyang turned to look at the manor head in confusion. Lu Xingchen was also a little surprised. "I asked him to go with you so that you can observe him carefully." The manor head secretly sent a telepathic message to Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang frowned slightly. Lu Xingchen asked doubtfully, "Grandpa Ren, why are we going to the ruins?" The manor head said, "You don't need to know anything. Just follow Qin Feiyang." "But," Lu Xingchen said hesitantly, "I've heard of the ruins. It's easy to go in, but difficult to get out." The manor head smiled faintly. "You don't have to worry about that. Qin Feiyang has a way." Lu Xingchen was surprised. He turned to Qin Feiyang, cupped his hands and said with a smile, "Then I'll have to trouble Brother Qin to take care of me in the future." "No problem." Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. The manor head waved his hand and said, "There's no time to lose. Let's go." At the same time, he secretly reminded Qin Feiyang to be careful on the way. Qin Feiyang's eyes flickered as he opened a teleportation door and took the lead to walk in. Lu Xingchen immediately followed. When the portal disappeared, the manor head also opened a portal and directly descended in the sky above the inner palace cemetery. After glancing at Lu Xingchen's grave, he waved his hand and directly dug up the grave. There was no one inside. He really came back from the dead. But how did this happen? What exactly went wrong? The manor head frowned, puzzled. Phew. After a while he took a deep breath and muttered, "It seems that I can only investigate from Lu Xingchen himself. I only hope that Qin Feiyang can find out something." After filling up the grave, he directly left the inner palace cemetery. He also ordered the guards who knew about it to keep quiet. Chapter 473. At the border between White County and Stone County, a bottomless abyss lay across the land. A black storm whistled, making ear-piercing sounds. Above the abyss, an ancient iron chain bridge led to the other end. The bridge was rusty and emitted an ancient and mysterious aura. Swish! In the void above the bridge, two figures appeared out of thin air. They were Qin Feiyang and Lu Xingchen. The dark abyss, the shocking hurricane, and the ancient iron chain bridge that was only wide enough for one person to walk on. Lu Xingchen's pupils couldn't help but shrink at the sight of it. Qin Feiyang's expression was very calm. Lu Xingchen turned to Qin Feiyang. Seeing Qin Feiyang's calm expression, he asked suspiciously, "Brother Qin, why aren't you surprised at all?" Qin Feiyang said, "I've been here once." "What?" Lu Xingchen looked at him in disbelief. "Let's go," Qin Feiyang said indifferently. Then, he swooped down and landed in front of the bridge. Lu Xingchen also landed beside Qin Feiyang. Looking at the iron chain bridge in front of him, his eyes were full of fear. "Don't worry, there won't be any danger inside." Qin Feiyang stepped onto the iron chain bridge and walked toward the other side unhurriedly. Lu Xingchen hurriedly followed. After walking for a distance and confirming that there was no danger, he secretly sighed in relief and said with a smile, "Brother Qin, it seems that your relationship with Grandpa Ren isn't ordinary." Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. He smiled faintly and said, "My relationship with the prefecture lord is purely based on interests. Unlike you, he watched you grow up and treated you like family." "Family?" Lu Xingchen shook his head and smiled bitterly. "Grandpa Ren and I were indeed like grandfather and grandson. However, because of my arrogance, our relationship became more and more distant." At this point, Lu Xingchen sighed. "I asked for it. I can't blame anyone." Qin Feiyang glanced at him from the corner of his eyes. Why did it feel like Lu Xingchen had become a completely different person? If he hadn't used the Heaven's Eye Stone to verify his identity, he would definitely have suspected that someone was impersonating him. However, it was undeniable that the current Lu Xingchen was even more difficult to deal with than the previous Lu Xingchen. Lu Xingchen steadied himself and asked suspiciously, "Brother Qin, why did we come to the ruins this time?" "Looking for the manor head's son." Qin Feiyang didn't hide it. Sooner or later, Lu Xingchen would find out. "Uncle Ren?" Lu Xingchen stared blankly and asked in surprise. "When did he come to the ruins? How come I didn't know?" Qin Feiyang frowned and said, "You have always been in the capital, how could you not know?" "I won't hide it from Brother Qin. In the past, when Uncle Ren suddenly disappeared, Grandpa Ren never came forward to explain. So all this time, we thought that he had unfortunately died outside. But we didn't expect him to come to the ruins," Lu Xingchen said. Qin Feiyang revealed a look of realization. Lu Xingchen asked, "Do you know why Uncle Ren came to the ruins?" Qin Feiyang shook his head and said, "I don't know. The manor head never mentioned it." "That's strange. This place doesn't seem to have any treasures." Lu Xingchen's face was full of suspicion. After 3 days, Qin Feiyang finally set foot on the ground of the ruins once again. His journey was more daunting than dangerous. "This is the ruins?" Lu Xingchen stood beside him and scanned the desolate land in front of him. His face was full of shock. Qin Feiyang lowered his head and pondered. Ren Wushuang had said that during those 20 years, she had searched everywhere, but in the end, she couldn't find it. Moreover, at that time, Ren Wushuang was the disciple of the King of Ruins and was famous throughout the ruins. If her father was here, he would definitely look for her, But in the end, he didn't. This meant that her father was most likely not here. And in the ruins, other than the land in front of them, there was only the black abyss left. Thinking of this, Qin Feiyong turned around and looked down at the black abyss, his eyes flickering. Lu Xingchen said, "Do you suspect that Uncle Ren is down there?" "Yes." Qin Feiyong nodded. "The black storm's lethality is astonishing. I'm afraid the chances of him being down there are not high." Lu Xingchen glanced at the hurricane in the abyss, then turned his head to look ahead, and said, "There's an ancient castle in front, let's go take a look first. If there's nothing, we'll think of a way to go down and look." Qin Feiyong thought for a moment, then nodded. "All right, then let's go directly to the king's city in the ruins." Ran Wushuang's father, as the son of the palace master, must have been an overlord-level figure. As long as he had entered the ruins, then as the ruler of this place, the king of ruins should know. Unless he had never set foot in the ruins. Or he had directly gone to the black abyss. King's city? Lu Xingchen was stunned, and said in surprise, "There's a king's city in the ruins?" Qin Feiyong nodded. Shua! The two of them stepped forward at the same time and sped towards the castle. Finally, someone else is here. At the top of the castle, a black armored man stood against the wind, looking at Qin Feiyong and Lu Xingchen. But suddenly, his pupils constricted, and he stared at Qin Feiyong. How could it be him? Didn't he leave already? Why did he enter the ruins again? The black armored man's eyes were filled with disbelief, and at the same time, there was a trace of bone-piercing killing intent. The two of them arrived in front of the castle. When he saw the black armored man, a trace of suspicion appeared on Qin Feiyong's face. Why did this person look so familiar? Lu Xingchen, on the other hand, was surprised. 3-star battle king? How could he be so weak? Qin Feiyong die. The black armored man looked down at the two of them, then suddenly shouted and jumped down. Battle chi surged, and he charged towards Qin Feiyong. Qin Feiyong was stunned. What's going on? He raised his arm and slammed his palm in the air. Battle chi surged out, turning into a torrent, and collided with the black armored man's body. Immediately. The black armored man screamed and was sent flying, crashing into the castle behind him. Boom! With a loud bang, a big hole was smashed in the wall. Lu Xingchen was puzzled. Brother Qin, do you have a grudge with this person? Qin Feiyong shook his head, also feeling puzzled. How is this possible? Following an angry shout, the black armored man ran out, covered in blood, and looked at Qin Feiyong in shock. Qin Feiyong asked, "What kind of deep hatred do you have with me? You actually don't remember?" It would have been better if Qin Feiyong didn't ask, but the moment he did, the black armored man was furious, and his face became incomparably ferocious. "Speak clearly." Qin Feiyong frowned. The black armored man said, "Back then, when you barged into the palace in King City, I was the one who brought you to see the great commander." Qin Feiyong was stunned, and tried hard to recall for a moment. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something and asked, "You are that Commander Rong?" "That's right." Commander Rong nodded. Qin Feiyong said in surprise, "Weren't you in the palace? Why are you guarding here?" The black armored man said angrily, "It's all your fault." "What has it got to do with me?" Qin Feiyong was puzzled. "Back then, you brought Ran Wushuang out of the ruins." When the king learned of this, he was furious and blamed the great commander for not looking after you. In the end, the great commander made me the scapegoat, so the king sent me to this place. There are neither resources nor essence chi here. In the past few years, not only did my cultivation not improve, it even regressed. All of this is your fault. Commander Rong roared. Qin Feiyong was stunned. He looked at Commander Rong with some sympathy and sighed. If you want to blame someone, you should blame your king. If you didn't take Ren Wushuang away, would I have ended up in this state today? Don't try to shirk the responsibility. Commander Rong roared. Qin Feiyong was too lazy to talk nonsense. Then what do you want? Give me your life. When enemies met, their eyes would turn red. Commander Rong had already completely lost his reason as he madly charged towards Qin Feiyong. Revenge breeds revenge. When will it end? Lu Xingchen shook his head and stretched out his arm to grab Commander Rong's wrist. You can't blame Brother Qin for this. Don't pester me endlessly. Who are you? Commander Rong said angrily. It doesn't matter who I am. Now I have something to ask you. As long as you tell me the truth, I won't kill you. Stop fooling around. You're just a 3-star combat emperor, while Brother Qin and I are both combat emperors. You're no match for us. Lu Xingchen said. Combat emperor. Commander Rong's eyes trembled. How was this possible? One had to know that when Qin Feiyong entered King City, he was only a martial ancestor. He broke through to the combat emperor realm so quickly? Wasn't this too monstrous? In an instant, Commander Rong was stunned. Lu Xingchen waved his hand and Ren Wushuang's father's shadow condensed. He asked, "This person is Ren Duxing. Have you seen him before?" So the father of Cheap's sister is Ren Duxing. Qin Feiyong muttered to himself and then looked at Commander Rong, only to see Commander Rong looking at Ren Duxing with eyes full of surprise. Qin Feiyong's heart skipped a beat. He asked, "You know him?" "I've seen him before," Commander Rong said. Qin Feiyong was overjoyed and hurriedly asked, "Where is he?" "I don't know." Commander Rong shook his head. "Are you playing with us?" Lu Xingchen frowned. No. What I mean is that Ren Wushuang was also looking for this person in the ruins. I only heard about it from her. Commander Rong hurriedly explained. Qin Feiyong and Lu Xingchen looked at each other and couldn't help but feel a trace of disappointment. They thought that they had found Ren Duxing's whereabouts, but they didn't expect that it was just an empty joy. "Let's go to the royal city," Qin Feiyong said lightly, then soared into the air and swept towards the depths of the ruins. Lu Xingchen waved his hand and directly killed Commander Rong. Then, he caught up with Qin Feiyong and asked with a smile, "You won't blame me, right?" Qin Feiyong said he deserved to die. Lu Xingchen smiled and asked, "Can you tell me what happened between you and Wushuang here?" Qin Feiyong smiled faintly. "It's nothing. I was just asked to do it." Lu Xingchen didn't continue to ask and changed the topic. The next morning, a huge city finally entered their line of sight. Dilapidated city walls, ancient buildings, and streets riddled with holes. All of these proved that this city had existed for a very long time. Chapter 474. In a certain hall of the palace, a middle-aged man was leaning against a chair. He was wearing a black robe. He had thick eyebrows and big eyes. 2 pretty maids were massaging his shoulders and legs, a look of enjoyment on their faces. "Commander, come out and face your death." Suddenly, a cold shout was heard. The middle-aged man raised his eyebrows. The 2 maids were also shocked. "Who is shouting outside? Are you looking for death?" The middle-aged man suddenly stood up and walked out of the hall boldly. He raised his head and saw 2 young men standing side by side in the sky. It was Qin Feiyong and Lu Xingchen. "It's you." The middle-aged man glanced at the 2 of them and locked his gaze on Qin Feiyong. His eyes flashed coldly. Qin Feiyong said, "That's right, it's me." The middle-aged man said, "You still dare to enter the ruins? What do you think this place is?" Qin Feiyong said indifferently, "Cut the crap. Today, we are here to settle the scores of the past." "You are very confident. It seems that you have stepped into the combat emperor realm, but this is not a place where you can behave atrociously." The killing intent in the commander's eyes surged. With a shocking aura, he rushed towards Qin Feiyong. 2-star combat emperor? Lu Xingchen was stunned. He immediately retreated to the side and crossed his arms in front of his chest. The corner of his mouth was pursed with a trace of playfulness. "I am no longer the Qin Feiyong of the past. Killing you now is as easy as flipping my hand." Qin Feiyong sneered. He activated the Imperial Wind Step and instantly landed on top of the commander's head. He stepped on the commander's head. Bang! Ah! The commander immediately screamed as blood flowed out of his head. His entire body was like a meteorite as he shot downwards. Boom! Accompanied by a loud sound, he smashed into the main hall. The main hall was razed to the ground in an instant. Billowing dust and smoke covered all directions. What a powerful strength! The guards and maids who had rushed over after hearing the news were all dumbfounded when they saw this scene. Their faces were deathly pale. "Damned bastard, I'm going to tear you to shreds and grind your bones to dust." The great commander rushed out from the ruins. His eyes were red, and his killing intent was monstrous. Do you remember how you threatened me back then? He even asked me to hand over the dagger. Every dog has its day. You might never have thought that I would surpass you so quickly. Qin Feiyang's body shook. Red-colored sword qi gushed out and turned into a hurricane that swept across the sky. The buildings below were like withered trees, shattering one after another. Stop! At this moment, a loud shout was heard. Then, a black figure flashed out from a large hall in the distance and flashed over like lightning. The Grand Commander roared, "Your Majesty, he is Qin Feiyang. Kill him quickly." Humph! Qin Feiyang coldly harumphed. With a wave of his hand, the world-destroying storm descended, engulfing the Grand Commander. Immediately, a pained howl resounded and spread in all directions. The Grand Commander was swept up by the storm, and pieces of wind blades ruthlessly cut into his flesh. In less than half a breath, his entire body was dripping with blood, and he no longer looked human. I told you to stop. Didn't you hear me? The King of Ruins was furious. With a wave of his hand, a black battle qi emerged. Like a giant python, it headed straight for Qin Feiyang. Lu Xingqian's pupils constricted slightly as he reminded. His cultivation should be at the 8-star War Emperor. Brother Qin, be careful. 8-star War Emperor. It's not like I don't have the strength to fight. Qin Feiyang raised his arm, pointed his index finger in the air, and said expressionlessly, returning to ruins. An invisible force spread out and roared into the sky, colliding with the battle qi. Immediately, everything turned into nothingness. Qin Feiyang and the King of Ruins each took half a step back, and a trace of blood flowed from the corner of their mouths. The King of Ruins also revealed his true appearance. This was a man in black. He was about 1.8 meters tall and had long black hair that draped over his shoulders. His entire body was emitting an astonishing aura. However, he wore a black mask on his face, covering his true appearance. Only his eyes could be seen. Those eyes were as black as ink, like two bottomless black holes. They were filled with an astonishing demonic nature, as if they could suck in one's mind. King, save me! The Grand Commander's cry for help rang out. The storm of sword qi mercilessly destroyed him. Not only was his body badly mutilated, even his bones were exposed. The King of Ruins glanced at the Grand Commander, then looked at Qin Feiyang and said, "Let him go, and I will spare your life." "Can you do it?" Qin Feiyang looked at him coldly. Arrogant. The King of Ruins was furious. Both of his hands suddenly stretched out, and a pitch-black battle qi emerged, like a large waterfall, flowing against the current. In an instant, above his head, a huge black full moon appeared. Lu Xingqian frowned and said, "Brother Qin, his battle qi is of the natural attribute, the power of darkness. Its lethality is astonishing. If you need help, just say so. Don't force yourself." "Dark attribute," Qin Feiyang murmured and said indifferently, "Not for the time being." Black moon slash. The King of Ruins shouted. Clang! Numerous black sharp blades swept out from the full moon. They were densely packed and carried an astonishing sharpness as they slashed toward Qin Feiyang. Swish! Qin Feiyang used the phantom steps and dodged to the side. Whoosh! However, those black sharp blades also turned in the air and continued to attack him. The aura of each blade was firmly locked onto him. They would not dissipate until they killed him. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed with killing intent. Clang! Accompanied by a loud sound that tore the sky and earth apart, a crimson battlesword rushed into the sky, and billowing waves of fire covered half the sky. Qin Feiyang shouted, "Come out, beast spirit!" Roar! Immediately, an earth-shaking beast roar resounded through the sky. A flaming beast rushed out of the battlesword and went straight for those sharp blades. It was like a berserk beast, its ferocious aura shook the world, and nothing could stop it wherever it passed. That sharp blade instantly shattered a large area. What kind of fighting soul is this? The King of Ruins was shocked. A beast soul had appeared within the sword soul. One fighting soul was equivalent to 2 fighting souls. How could there be such a ridiculous thing in this world? Black moon strike. He waved his hand and the black full moon above his head trembled in the void, releasing a destructive aura. Immediately after, it whistled toward the flaming beast. Qin Feiyang said expressionlessly, "Beast spirit, go!" Roar! The flaming beast roared toward the sky, and its aura soared into the sky as it collided with the black full moon. Boom! Like Mars colliding with Earth, the flaming beast and the black full moon exploded in the void. At this moment, the world lost its color. The terrifying battle fluctuations were unstoppable and swept in all directions. In the blink of an eye, the entire palace was razed to the ground. Countless people were affected and died tragically on the spot. Puff! Qin Feiyong and the King of Ruins also spat out a mouthful of blood at the same time, and their feet uncontrollably retreated. Ah, King, save me at this time. The Grand Commander's cry for help sounded again. But before he could finish his words, he was smashed into pieces by the sword Qi storm, and blood splattered across the sky. Bastard! This king is going to kill you. The King of Ruins frowned, unable to restrain his anger. One had to know. The land of ruins was lacking in essence, qi, and resources. To cultivate a war emperor was harder than ascending to the heavens. It could be said that the war emperor was a very precious asset to the land of ruins. Now, the Grand Commander had died in front of him. How could he not be angry? Come out, Black Demon God. The King of Ruins roared. Boom! A huge shadow soared into the sky from behind the King of Ruins. This shadow was dozens of feet tall. It wore a dark armor and held a halberd in its hand. It was like a giant that could support the heavens and earth. It was ferocious and imposing. However, its face was shrouded in black mist and could not be seen clearly. What? Human-shaped war soul. And it's even equipped with armor and weapons? Qin Feiyong and Lu Xingchen were both dumbfounded. They had seen many war souls, but this was the first time they had encountered such an astonishing one. Shua! Lu Xingchen took a step forward and landed beside Qin Feiyong. He whispered, "This might really be the shadow of a demon god." So what if it's a demon god? Today, if God blocks, kill God. If devil blocks, kill devil. Qin Feiyong's aura soared to the clouds, arrogant and domineering. Clang! The crimson battle sword above his head slashed towards the black demon god with a world-destroying edge. Roar! The black demon god let out a beast-like roar. He waved his halberd and attacked the battle sword. Clang! The two weapons clashed and dazzling sparks flew. Crack! The crimson battle sword shattered. Qin Feiyong's face turned pale and blood spurted from his mouth. Defeated? Lu Xingchen's pupils contracted. Qin Feiyong also found it hard to accept. However, after thinking about it, he felt relieved. After all, the King of Ruins was an 8-star combat emperor, and he was only a 4-star combat emperor. There was a difference of 4 levels between them. It was not shameful to be defeated. Qin Feiyong, accept my wrath. Black Demon God, kill him. The King of Ruins roared. The Black Demon God took a step forward and shook the void. The halberd in his hand glowed brightly and slashed towards Qin Feiyong. The terrifying sharpness tore the earth apart. Kill me? Can you do it? Qin Feiyong's eyes were like lightning. Another wave of fire soared into the sky. It's useless. Give up. Because your fighting soul is like a withered tree in front of my fighting soul. It can't withstand a single blow. The King of Ruins laughed. Can't you see it clearly before being so arrogant? Qin Feiyong pursed his lips and sneered. The King of Ruins was surprised. When he fixed his eyes on it, he turned pale with fright. In the wave of fire, it was not a battle sword but a 9-leaf fire lotus. How is this possible? You have activated 2 fighting souls. The King of Ruins was shocked. However, he laughed wildly and said, "So what if I have 2 fighting souls? My fighting soul is enough to defeat everything." Is that so? Qin Feiyong glanced at him coldly. He raised his head and looked at the Black Demon God before retreating. At the same time, with a thought, a fire lotus leaf fell off and shot towards the Black Demon God like a meteor. Explode! As it approached, Qin Feiyong said coldly, "Boom!" The fire lotus leaf suddenly exploded, giving birth to a destructive wave that flooded all directions. Crack! The armor on the Black Demon God's body immediately cracked. How is this possible? Chapter 475. Nothing is impossible. Qin Feiyong's eyes were cold and emotionless. Clang! Another fire lotus leaf fell off and shot toward Black Demon God with a wave of fire. Explode! Qin Feiyong shouted coldly. Boom! The fire lotus leaf exploded and a destructive shockwave swept across the sky. Kacha! The armor on Black Demon God's body finally collapsed and completely dissipated. Even the heavenly halberd was cracked. What terrifying combat strength! Lu Xingqian's pupils constricted as he looked at King of Ruins and shouted, 9 fire lotus leaves are equivalent to 9 ultimate moves. King of Ruins, you have no chance of winning. Surrender now. Surrender? You're asking me, the ruler of the land of ruins, to surrender to a brat who is still wet behind the ears. Are you kidding me? Innate ability, Black Demon God. Heaven shocking slash. King of Ruins roared hysterically, his voice like a bell that shook the heavens and earth. Roar. Black Demon God roared angrily as black light burst out from his body, plunging the place into darkness. Next, the Black Demon God raised his halberd and shot out a bone-piercing beam of light. Be careful, Lu Xingqian said in a low voice. His eyes were solemn as his aura spread out. Step back, Qin Feiyang said. Lu Xingqian was taken aback as he turned to look at Qin Feiyang. He retracted his aura and flew across the sky to watch the battle from afar. The ruler of the land of ruins? Today, I will make you accept your defeat wholeheartedly. Qin Feiyang stood against the wind, his robes fluttering and his black hair rustling in the void. His entire body was brimming with invincible fighting spirit. The fire lotus war soul's flames surged into the sky, dispersing the endless darkness. I, King of Ruins, have never submitted to anyone before? Heaven shocking slash kill. King of Ruins roared, his hair fluttering in anger. Black Demon God grabbed the halberd with both hands and slashed down. A gigantic black blade of light suddenly broke through the air, its sharpness wanton, almost tearing the sky apart. Clang! Qin Feiyang only felt his blood boiling. With a thought, the 2 fire lotus leaves left his body and shot out explosively, leaving behind a fiery red trail. Explode! The moment they met, he let out a roar. Boom! The 3 leaves exploded at the same time, destroying everything along with the Black Demon God's shocking slash. I'll end you right now. Qin Feiyang's long hair danced in the wind and his clothes were stained with blood. He was like a god of war, his aura soaring to the heavens. Another fire lotus leaf streaked across the sky like a bolt of lightning, shooting towards the King of Ruins. Killing fighting souls was useless. This was because even if the fighting soul was destroyed, it could still be summoned again. Only by getting rid of the original fighting soul would he be able to get rid of all future troubles. The King of Ruins' pupils constricted, and he hurriedly said, Stop, stop, stop. This king surrenders. Surrendering now is meaningless. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed with killing intent. Brother Qin, you can't kill him. Lu Xingqian hurriedly came over to stop Qin Feiyang. If he killed the King of Ruins, this trip would be in vain. Qin Feiyang frowned. With a thought, the fire lotus leaf stopped above the King of Ruins' head, spitting out scorching flames. Now, you'll answer whatever I ask you. If you dare lie, Brother Qin will definitely kill you on the spot. Put away your fighting soul first. Lu Xingqian looked at the King of Ruins and said, I'll definitely cooperate. The King of Ruins nodded. With a thought, the Black Demon God disappeared without a trace. Lu Xingqian waved his hand and Ren Duxing's phantom image appeared. He asked, Have you seen him before? No. The King of Ruins sized him up seriously and shook his head. Qin Feiyang said in a deep voice, You really haven't seen him before, or you don't want to say? The King of Ruins hurriedly said, I really haven't seen him before. It seems that you're very dishonest. I can only send you to hell. Qin Feiyang's eyes revealed a cold light. The fire lotus leaf floating above the King of Ruins' head released a shocking aura. It was about to explode. Lu Xingqian crossed his arms and said indifferently, Since you don't know, there's no need to keep him. The King of Ruins' body and mind trembled as he hurriedly said, Wait, I know. Qin Feiyang and Lu Xingqian looked at each other with a trace of surprise in their eyes. In fact, they were only trying to scare the King of Ruins to see if he was lying or not. They didn't expect that they would really be scared by them. Qin Feiyang turned to look at the King of Ruins and said, Since you know, why are you lying to us? The King of Ruins said bitterly, I have no choice. This is what Master told me. Master? Qin Feiyang and Lu Xingqian were stunned. Lu Xingqian asked, What do you mean? The King of Ruins said, "The person you're looking for is my master." Ah! The two of them were stunned again. Wasn't this too big of a twist? The King of Ruins hurriedly said, "Please believe me. What I said is true." Qin Feiyong said, "What can you prove?" "His name is Ran Duxing, the son of the spiritual state mansion master and Ran Wushuang's father. There's a crescent-shaped white mark between his eyebrows. His battle soul has a strong healing ability." The King of Ruins said a lot in one breath. "You know so much?" Qin Feiyong and Lu Xingchen looked at each other. It seemed that it was true. "I accepted Ran Wushuang as my disciple because I was ordered by Master to protect him in secret. Because Master guessed that Ran Wushuang would definitely come to the Land of Ruins to look for him." The King of Ruins said again. Qin Feiyong suddenly understood and said, "Then where is your master now? How did you become his disciple?" "I really don't know where Master is. As for becoming his disciple, this matter has to be explained from the beginning. Back then, when he entered the Land of Ruins, I was only a 5-star combat emperor. At that time, when I received the news that he came in, I gathered people to assassinate him and rob him of his resources. You also know that there are too few resources here. It's not enough for everyone to cultivate. But when we met him, we realized that he was too strong. All the people I brought with me died in his hands. I was going to die too, but when he heard that I was the king of the Land of Ruins, he didn't kill me. Later, when I learned of his identity, I wanted to be his disciple and get some resources at the same time. At first, he didn't agree, but after my continuous efforts, he finally agreed and even gave me a lot of battle chi pills. It's also thanks to these battle chi pills that I can become an 8-star combat emperor so quickly." The King of Ruins said, his face full of gratitude. Qin Feiyong asked, "Then how long did he stay in King City?" "Not long. Only half a month. And in this half a month, he seemed to be looking for something. His footprints were all over the Land of Ruins." The King of Ruins' eyes were also full of doubts. "Looking for what?" Qin Feiyong frowned. As Ran Duxing's father, the palace master should know what Ran Duxing was looking for. But before he left, he didn't think so much, so he didn't ask. But now, this clue had become the key. Because as long as they could figure out the purpose of Ran Duxing's visit to the Land of Ruins, they could follow the clues and find Ran Duxing's traces. Lu Xingchen asked doubtfully, "Then why didn't you tell Ran Wushuang about this?" The King of Ruins said, "Master specifically told me not to. He said that he didn't want Ran Wushuang to take risks." "Risks?" Lu Xingchen was stunned. He turned to look at Qin Feiyong and said, "It seems that what Uncle Ran is looking for is somewhat dangerous." Qin Feiyong nodded, looked at the King of Ruins and asked, "Did Ran Duxing appear again?" "No." The King of Ruins shook his head. Qin Feiyong said, "Since he wasn't in the Land of Ruins or the spiritual state, it seems that there is only one possibility, the Black Abyss." "Impossible. The storm in the abyss is enough to tear apart a War Emperor realm powerhouse in an instant. Master was only a 7-star War Emperor at that time. It's impossible for him to go down there." The King of Ruins shook his head decisively. Lu Xingchen pondered for a moment and said, "The Black Abyss is indeed the only explanation." Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed, and he said in a deep voice, "Let's go to the abyss immediately." Lu Xingchen said, "Why don't we ask Grandpa Ren first?" Qin Feiyong said, "We can't send messages in the Land of Ruins, and we can't open a portal." Lu Xingchen's expression froze, and he said with a wry smile, "It seems that we can only go down and find him." The King of Ruins looked at the two in shock. Who are these two guys? They even dare to enter the Black Abyss? Qin Feiyong waved his hand and dispersed the fire lotus leaf. He put away the fire lotus battle soul and looked at the King of Ruins. "The Land of Ruins may disappear soon. You'd better make plans early." "Disappear?" The King of Ruins was shocked. "Let's go." Qin Feiyong called out, turned into a stream of light, and returned the way he came. Lu Xingchen quickly chased after him. After watching Qin Feiyong and Lu Xingchen disappear, the King of Ruins' eyes flashed, and he also left. The next day, Qin Feiyong and Lu Xingchen once again arrived at the ancient iron chain bridge. Lu Xingchen glanced at the storm below and frowned. "Brother Qin, how do we go down?" "It's not difficult to go down. The only thing that worries me is that we don't know anything about the situation below." Qin Feiyong frowned. "This problem. Lu Xingchen hesitated for a moment and smiled. As long as we are careful, there shouldn't be any accidents. I hope so. Qin Feiyang took a deep breath, took out 2 ribs, and handed one to Lu Xingchen, saying, "Return it to me immediately after we go down." Lu Xingchen nodded, took the ribs and questioned, "Is this thing really okay?" "No problem. Last time Ren Wushuang and I left the Land of Ruins, we relied on it." After Qin Feiyang finished speaking, he directly jumped into the abyss. That terrifying gravitational force immediately emerged. Qin Feiyang's body trembled, and he immediately spat out blood. All the pores on his body were also spurting blood, instantly dyeing his whole body red. Bas! Seeing that Qin Feiyang's body was about to be crushed by the gravity, the ribs in his hand suddenly shone brightly, forming a white barrier to protect him. Qin Feiyang also hurriedly took a healing pill. "It really works?" Lu Xingchen looked at Qin Feiyang in surprise and also jumped down. The 2 of them continued to sink, and the storms they encountered were also isolated by the barrier. But even so, their faces were still solemn, and they did not dare to be careless. This was because the unknown always made people panic, especially in this place. However, Chapter 476. The abyss was bottomless. The black storm covered every corner, emitting an ear-piercing howl. If not for the ribs protecting their bodies, Qin Feiyang and Lu Xingchen would have been torn to pieces. The 2 of them sank side by side, paying full attention to the movements around them. In the end, they found that apart from the storm, there was nothing else. About an hour passed. The 2 of them finally arrived at the bottom of the abyss. Looking at everything in front of them, the 2 of them were completely stunned. This place was actually a verdant canyon. Ancient trees towered into the sky, and vines curled around them. Weeds grew, and mountains rose and fell. Rapid rivers meandered to the ends of the earth on both sides. This place and the ruins above were 2 completely different worlds. Whoosh! After Lu Xingchen returned the ribs to Qin Feiyang, the 2 of them landed on a mountain peak and looked around. This was a primitive jungle. Moreover, there was the aura of ferocious beasts in the jungle. After a moment of observation, Qin Feiyang looked up at the sky and frowned. The black storm did not disappear. It whistled thousands of feet high in the sky, isolating this canyon from the rest of the world. In other words, this was a sealed and independent world. Lu Xingchen said, "That's strange. There is no sun here, but why is there light?" The light here was not weak, as if it was daytime. "They are emitting light." Qin Feiyang pointed to the cliffs on both sides of the canyon. On the cliffs, there was a basin-sized glowing stone every 10 meters, emitting white light. Lu Xingchen glanced at the glowing stones and said, "It's too standard, too neat. It must be man-made." This was a major discovery. Because if it was man-made, there must be someone. Whoosh! The 2 of them soared into the air and flew down the canyon, carefully searching the jungle below. Roar! However, they did not search for long before a loud beast roar suddenly sounded. A ferocious beast rushed out from the jungle below and stood in front of the 2 of them. It was an ape with a tall body of more than 5 meters. Its fur was as black as ink, like steel needles, emitting a shocking sharpness. However, what shocked Qin Feiyang and Li Qia was that there were actually 3 millstone-sized heads on top of this ape's head. 3 pairs of eyes, 6 pupils, all exuding a terrifying, ominous light. Lu Xingchen asked in surprise, "How can there be such apes?" Qin Feiyang whispered, "It's called the Blackstone ape. It's a species from 10,000 years ago." 10,000 years ago. Lu Xingchen's gaze trembled. Doesn't that mean it's a remnant from 10,000 years ago? Qin Feiyang nodded. His heart was also filled with bewilderment. The fact that the Forgotten Land had descendants from 10,000 years ago was already inconceivable to him. But in the canyon below the ruins, there were descendants from 10,000 years ago. Moreover, these Blackstone apes were somewhat similar to the Snow Mountain apes in the Forgotten Land. At the Battle King level, a second head would be born. At the War Emperor level, a third head would be born. But why? Was there any connection between the ruined land and the Forgotten Land? The Blackstone ape was also sizing up the 2 of them, its 6 eyes constantly rolling. "Humans, leave this place immediately." Suddenly, a ferocious shout resounded in the minds of Qin Feiyang and Xiao Chen. Qin Feiyang cupped his hands and said, Your Excellency, we have no ill intentions. We are only here to find someone. After we finish searching this canyon, we will immediately leave. The Blackstone ape said. Leave immediately. There was no room for negotiation. Impossible. Qin Feiyong shook his head. Don't be ignorant. The Blackstone ape shouted, the ferocity in its eyes even stronger than before. Then I'll have to offend you. Qin Feiyong said coldly. The aura of a 4-star war emperor exploded, and he threw a punch at the Blackstone ape. With your little strength, you dare to come here and behave atrociously? You really don't know your place. The Blackstone ape's eyes revealed disdain as it raised its fist and punched Qin Feiyong. Puff! Gotcha! Qin Feiyong spat out a mouthful of blood and was actually sent flying. His arm was even shattered on the spot. So strong. He was shocked in his heart. Lu Xingchen was also dumbfounded. Now you don't have the chance to leave even if you want to. The Blackstone ape was extremely overbearing. It raised its thick arm again and punched towards Lu Xingchen. Your Excellency is too arrogant. Lu Xingchen's face turned cold. He didn't take it head-on. He retreated to the side and pointed his finger in the air. Whirlwind and clouds. With a low roar, a storm appeared out of thin air and instantly engulfed the Blackstone ape. And the Blackstone ape's contemptuous voice sounded. Next. It took a step out of the storm, and there was not a single wound on its body. How is this possible? Lu Xingchen's face was dull. One had to know. He also had the cultivation of a 5-star war emperor, and the whirlwind and clouds was a superior battle art. How could it not break through the Blackstone ape's defense? Boom! Without waiting for him to regain his senses, the Blackstone ape threw a punch. The strong astral wind was like a sharp blade, blowing Lu Xingchen's entire body and causing him to feel a sharp pain. His body felt like it was being torn apart. Get out of the way! Qin Feiyong had already stabilized his body at this time. Seeing this, he hurriedly shouted and pointed his index finger in the air. Ultimate Void! The invisible force turned into a torrent and roared. Lu Xingchen hurriedly used a mysterious footwork and fled far away. Boom! The invisible force collided with the fist, but it didn't cause any damage to the Blackstone ape. Lu Xingchen said in surprise, isn't this defense too amazing? I'm afraid that it has the cultivation of a 9-star war emperor. In addition, its skin is as hard as a rock. I'm afraid that it would take at least a 6-star war emperor, and the assistance of a superior battle art to tear through its defense. Qin Feiyong's face was gloomy. He didn't expect to meet such a difficult opponent. However, he had the perfect battle art. As long as he broke through to the 5-star war emperor, he believed that he would be able to fight it. However, it would take time to break through to the 5-star war emperor. Lu Xingchen's heart also sank to the bottom. Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed and said, I'll be the main attacker. You assist me. Okay. Lu Xingchen nodded. You still haven't given up? The Blackstone ape looked at the two of them in surprise. However, deep mockery climbed up from its 6 pupils. In my, Qin Feiyong's, dictionary, there is no such thing as giving up. Qin Feiyong snorted and used the windwalk to rush forward. Since you're so arrogant, I'll kill you first. The Blackstone ape's murderous intent rose and it took the initiative to attack. Qin Feiyong's eyes were like torches. He raised his other hand and slammed it. Shatter! The Blackstone ape roared and punched out. When the fist and palm collided, Qin Feiyong secretly activated the return word technique. Golden light burst out from his palm. Boom! Immediately, Qin Feiyong's arm was cut open and his body flew out. At the same time, the Blackstone ape also let out a wail and smashed into the distance like a meteorite. Its thick arm was also cut open and blood splattered everywhere. Qin Feiyong shouted, Take advantage of this moment and break off one of its arms. Lu Xingchen had long been waiting at the side. Hearing Qin Feiyong's words, he indeed made his move. A gust of wind gushed out from his palm and instantly condensed into a wind blade that was more than 10 meters long. Wind blade, slash. Lu Xingchen roared and the giant wind blade suddenly broke through the air. Like a bolt of lightning, it instantly approached the Blackstone ape and slashed its shoulder. Ew! Immediately, the Blackstone ape let out a miserable howl and its entire arm was instantly cut off. Qin Feiyong frowned. Lu Xingchen's battle chi was actually of the wind attribute. Natural attributes were also divided into strong and weak. Apart from the thunder attribute, this wind attribute was considered the most lethal one and was almost comparable to the dark attribute. Lu Xingqian shouted, "Quick, now is a good chance to kill it." Qin Feiyong nodded, took a regeneration pill and went straight to the Blackstone ape. "Humans, you all have to die." Roar. The Blackstone ape stabilized its body and roared towards the sky. Roar. Suddenly, in the jungle below, there were deafening roars of beasts. The mountains and rivers trembled at this moment. "What's the situation?" Qin Feiyong and Lu Xingqian stopped in the air and looked down in surprise. But in the next moment, their expressions changed. Whoosh! One after another, beasts rushed out from the jungle below. They were all Blackstone apes. And basically all of them had 3 heads. In the blink of an eye, more than 30 Blackstone apes had appeared. It was hard to imagine how many more were lurking in the jungle. "Not good, quickly retreat." Lu Xingqian shouted, turned around, and began to flee with a mysterious footwork. Qin Feiyong did not hesitate and used the phantom steps to quickly catch up. He glanced at Lu Xingqian and said, "Your speed is very fast. Is it a high-grade auxiliary battle art?" Lu Xingqian smiled faintly and said, "For top-quality alchemists like us, isn't it very easy to get a high-grade auxiliary battle art?" "That's true." Qin Feiyong nodded. Before he went to the continent city, only Lu Xingqian refined pills to the outside world. He must have earned a lot of wealth. However, although he and Lu Xingqian's speed was comparable to an 8-star war emperor, it was impossible to escape today. "Where do you think you're going?" Sure enough, not long after, accompanied by an angry roar, Blackstone apes rushed out of the jungle in front of them. Their aura was unfathomable. Qin Feiyong and Lu Xingqian stopped in the void and scanned their left and right sides. There were also Blackstone apes blocking the way. There were at least 200 of them. Moreover, there were more than 39 Star War Emperor Blackstone apes. Lu Xingqian said angrily, "If their skin wasn't so thick, we could have killed our way out." The most terrifying thing about the Blackstone apes was their skin. Its defense was too strong. "Use it." Qin Feiyong took out 2 ribs and threw one to Lu Xingqian. Lu Xingqian grabbed the ribs. With the bones in hand, the 2 of them were suddenly 100 times more confident. "Don't split up," Qin Feiyong whispered. At this moment, his shattered arm had also been regenerated. "I know." Lu Xingqian nodded. "Kill." The 2 of them roared at the same time and turned to kill the injured Blackstone ape. The Blackstone ape's eyes were filled with a cruel and bloodthirsty light as it roared. "Kill them!" Boom! Suddenly, the surrounding Blackstone apes swarmed towards Qin Feiyong and Lu Xingqian. "Let's see if your skin is thicker or the bones in my hand are harder." Chapter 477. Boom! He took a step forward, swung the rib bone, and smashed it at a Blackstone ape. This Blackstone ape had the strength of a 7-star combat emperor. Seeing this, it roared angrily and punched the rib bone. Bang! Crack! Its millstone-sized fist shattered on the spot, flesh and blood splattering everywhere. The intense pain made it howl miserably. Its huge body was blasted away, and the few Blackstone apes behind it could not dodge in time. They were also sent flying, spitting out blood from their mouths. The other Blackstone apes looked at the rib bone in Qin Feiyong's hand in shock. Ayo! All of a sudden, another wail of anguish rang out. An 8-star combat Emperor Blackstone ape was also sent flying by Lu Xingqian. How could this be? What bone is that? The monkeys were shocked and could not help but stop in their tracks, looking at the 2 rib bones in fear. The ape that lost its arm roared. "Don't be afraid of them, attack!" Roar! The monkeys' eyes were fierce, and they once again charged at the 2 of them. Qin Feiyong and Lu Xingqian were not afraid at all. They held the rib bone in their hands and fought bravely in all directions, looking like they would kill any god or Buddha that stood in their way. The apes were constantly sent flying, some flying into the distance, and some smashed into the forest below. Rumbles and angry roars were incessant. However, even with the rib bone in their hands, Qin Feiyong and Lu Xingqian were also riddled with injuries. After all, there were too many Blackstone apes, and they were all very strong. Sometimes it was impossible to dodge. As long as they were hit by a punch, they would lose half of their lives. Fortunately, they were both alchemists and did not lack supreme-grade healing pills. The two of them cooperated quite well, and they fought their way out. The forest and mountains below were already in ruins and dyed red with blood. Qin Feiyang sent a black stone ape flying and shouted in a low voice, "Don't fight, let's go." Although they had fought their way out of the encirclement, none of the black stone apes died. They were only seriously injured. Moreover, most of the apes were still full of energy and were completely unharmed. Most importantly, the black stone apes continued to rush out from the forest below. These were all fresh troops. If this were to continue, the two of them might really die here. Whoosh! The two of them flew away without looking back. Lu Xingchen said, "If these bones could recover automatically like when we entered the abyss, we wouldn't have to go through so much trouble. One must know how to be content with what one has. It's already a great help that it can automatically wake up at the critical moment." Qin Feiyang said. Lu Xingchen was stunned. He shook his head and smiled bitterly. "Brother Qin is right. I was too greedy. Humans, you won't be able to escape today. If you know what's good for you, then obediently accept your death. Otherwise, it won't be so easy for you to die later." The group of monkeys chased after him relentlessly, their vicious auras overflowing the heavens. Lu Xingchen's eyes darkened. "We can't go on like this." Because they didn't know what other ferocious beasts were lurking ahead. Roar! Before his voice faded, accompanied by a series of earth-shaking roars, another group of blackstone apes charged out from the forest ahead. "Humans, where are you going?" As soon as the group of apes appeared, they rushed towards the two of them. Damn it! Qin Feiyang was extremely angry. How many monkeys were hiding in the forest? Bang! Bang! With a wave of his hand, he took out another rib and grabbed one in each hand. Following closely, he took the lead and swooped down. Like a human-shaped tyrannosaurus, he crazily fought with the group of monkeys. The apes were constantly blasted away. Their blood was like a waterfall, dyeing the void and the earth red. Dang! But suddenly, a 9-star combat Emperor Blackstone ape attacked him from behind. The pitch-black fist seemed to be cast from black iron. Before it even got close, the terrifying force made Qin Feiyang feel as if he was in the abyss. His whole body was cold. "Don't even think about it." Lu Xingchen saw this from behind and rushed forward. He raised his rib and smashed it on the head of the blackstone ape. Ow! With a painful howl, the blackstone ape's head burst open on the spot. Its body was like a meteorite, smashing into the depths of the earth below. But it was not fatal. Because it had 3 heads, it was equivalent to having 3 lives. Unless one directly smashed its heart or all of its heads, everything would be in vain. "Thank you." Qin Feiyang thanked him, but his face suddenly changed. He hurriedly shouted, "Get out of the way!" Because behind Lu Xingchen, there was also a blackstone ape that wanted to sneak attack Lu Xingchen. Lu Xingchen heard Qin Feiyang shout and stepped out without hesitation. At the same time, Qin Feiyang rushed towards the blackstone ape, raised his rib and swept towards the blackstone ape's legs. Crack! 2 thick legs were shattered on the spot. The ape screamed, lost its balance, and fell into the forest below. "We can't be so passive. Let's kill it first and see if we can intimidate them." Lu Xingchen roared. He swooped down and landed on top of the ape. He smashed 3 of its heads at lightning speed, and it died on the spot. Roar! However, this move not only did not have a deterrent effect, but also made the monkeys go crazy. They beat their chests and stomped their feet, roaring angrily. Their pitch-black eyes quickly turned red. Not good. Qin Feiyang's heart sank. There were too many blackstone apes. It was impossible to kill them all. It seemed that they could only retreat first. But Lu Xingchen was another problem. Qin Feiyang was very worried about letting Lu Xingchen go to the castle. But it did not seem right to leave Lu Xingchen alone. After all, the two of them were now standing on the same boat. "You hurt my people. You deserve death." Suddenly, an angry shout rang out. Qin Feiyang and Lu Xingchen were shocked as they looked towards the direction of the voice. The angry shout came from the top of a mountain in front of them. Boom! A terrifying, ferocious aura surged. Next, a huge creature flew out from the top of the mountain and entered their line of sight. Immediately, Qin Feiyang and Lu Xingchen's pupils contracted. It was also a black stone ape, but it had 4 heads on its shoulders. There was no doubt that it was a war master. The group of monkeys surrounding the two of them also began to roar excitedly. Qin Feiyang did not dare to hesitate any longer, and brought Lu Xingchen into the castle. What a joke! A War Master-level Blackstone ape had an even more terrifying defensive power. It was definitely a master that could not be provoked. Where is he? Seeing the two of them suddenly disappear without a trace, the monkeys scanned their surroundings in bewilderment. After a moment of silence, the place was drowned out by the angry roars of beasts. Inside the castle, hearing the vicious beast roar, Qin Feiyang and Lu Xingchen were both terrified. Lu Xingchen swept his gaze across the castle and sighed. Brother Qin, if not for this castle of yours, I'm afraid that we would have been in deep trouble today. Fatso sneered. Lu Xingchen, can you stop acting in front of us? Lu Xingchen was slightly startled. He looked at Fatso and asked suspiciously. Brother Fatty, what do you mean by that? Fatso sneered. We were the ones who destroyed the Lu family. Would you give up on revenge so easily? Lu Xingchen sighed deeply and said, Brother Fatty, I really wanted to kill you guys in the past, but it's different now. How is it different? We all understand your personality, so don't act here. Just say it. What exactly do you want to do? Fatso said impatiently. Why don't you believe me? I'm someone who has died once. I've seen through many things. Hatred will only make people lose themselves. There's a good saying, if revenge breeds revenge, will there ever be an end to it? I don't care if you believe me or not, I've really let it go, and I don't want to talk about the past anymore. Lu Xingchen sighed. Fatso sneered. What else did he want to say? Qin Feiyang said, All right, since Lu Xingchen said so, there's no need to harp on it. Hurry up and cultivate. Fatso pursed his lips and looked at Lu Xingchen. Don't let Fat Lord find out that you have bad intentions, or you'll die a horrible death. Lu Xingchen said. Time will prove everything. All right, let's wait and see. Fatso snorted, then closed his eyes and continued cultivating. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. He looked at Lu Xingchen and said, Give me the rib. Lu Xingchen did not hesitate, and there was no greed in his eyes. He directly handed the rib to Qin Feiyang. This action made Qin Feiyang quite puzzled. Had this Lu Xingchen really turned over a new leaf? Putting away the rib, Qin Feiyang said, Go find a place to cultivate, but don't go near that altar. Lu Xingchen looked at the altar and nodded. I know what to do. That's good. Qin Feiyang nodded and asked, Do you have any plans next? The black stone ape is so ridiculously strong. What other plans can there be? Lu Xingchen pursed his lips and smiled bitterly. The most important thing now is to improve our strength. Qin Feiyang said. I have the same idea. I am now a 5-star combat emperor. Once I break through to 6-star combat emperor, with a superior battle art, it won't be difficult to deal with the black stone ape. It's the same for you. As long as you break through to 5-star combat emperor, with a perfect battle art, you will be able to sweep through the monkeys. The only thing we have to worry about now is that War Master Realm Monkey King. Lu Xingchen was worried. Qin Feiyang also fell silent. This canyon was unimaginably terrifying. If they continued to walk like this, who knew what kind of terrifying beasts they would encounter? The future could be said to be bleak. Phew! He let out a long breath and said, We will cross the bridge when we get there. Let's cultivate first. Lu Xingchen nodded, sat cross-legged in a corner, and closed his eyes to cultivate. Qin Feiyang also walked to the altar, opened the iron box, turned to the second page, and continued to copy the 8th stroke of the battle formula. Spirit State. The Palace Lord's Mansion. The Palace Lord sat by the pond, fishing. Wang Hong and the other commanders stood behind him, frowning as if they were thinking about something. A moment later, the Palace Lord asked without turning his head. What's wrong? You don't dare to make a decision? My lord, I admit that Qin Feiyang's words are reasonable, but it is not a small matter to destroy the ruins. I think we should ask the current emperor. Wang Hong bowed and said. I also agree with Wang Hong's suggestion. After all, the ruins have existed since the beginning of the Great Qin Empire. If they wanted to destroy it, the emperor would have already given the order. But no matter if it was the current emperor or the previous emperors, they all left it alone. This means that there is something else going on. Moreover, we have never been to the ruins, so we don't know the real situation there. We can't completely trust Qin Feiyong's words. Third young master Chao said. Chapter 478. Don't worry about that. Qin Feiyong is telling the truth. Because Xueqi has also been to the ruins. Not long ago, this old man went to ask her, and she said the same thing as Qin Feiyong. The mansion master laughed. Wang Hong said, even so, we still have to ask the current emperor. The emperor is the supreme ruler. How can this old man see him just because he wants to? The mansion master laughed bitterly. The 9 commanders fell silent. Although the old man was the ruler of the spiritual state, he did not have the qualifications to meet the emperor on his own initiative. He had to be summoned by the emperor. And every 10 years, the emperor would only summon him once. It had only been 8 years since the last time he met the emperor, which meant that he would have to wait another 2 years. The mansion master pondered for a moment, then sighed. We'll talk about this in 2 years. Wang Hong and the others nodded. This was the only way. The mansion master said, one more thing, this old man has already dismissed Zhao He from his position as commander. Do you have any suitable candidates? The 9 commanders pondered. Suddenly, Wang Hong's eyes lit up and said, I think Yan Nanshan can be the commander. This old man has seen Yan Nanshan's performance during this period of time. He is indeed a talent. But he is now the law-enforcing elder of the temple. We can't possibly snatch him away from the temple, right? If we really do that, that little girl will definitely come to this old man every day to reason with me. So, it's not feasible. The mansion master said. The little girl he was talking about was the Grand Hall Master of the temple. Then let's choose Fan Jian. Although he has helped Qin Feiyong many times, this also proves that he has a unique vision and can distinguish between good and evil. Wang Hong said. Xueqi said, you're right, but he has only just stepped into the War Master realm. I'm afraid it will be difficult for him to take on such a great responsibility. You underestimate him too much. Yesterday I interrogated him. With the help of Qin Feiyong, he has already opened the 5th level of the Gate of Potential. With his current talent and potential, I believe that it won't be long before he will not only catch up to us, but also surpass us. At that time, even we can only look up to him. Wang Hong laughed bitterly. The 5th level. The eyes of Xueqi and the others trembled. The Door of Potential had always been a legend. Not to mention the 5th level, they couldn't even open the 1st level. This Qin Feiyong is really scary. It seemed that he had to get closer to Qin Feiyong in the future. The manor head pondered for a moment, then nodded and said, all right, Fan Jian it is. Wang Hong, go and inform him. Yes. Wang Hong bowed in response, and then he transformed into a flowing light that flashed towards the prison. When Fan Jian found out, he was extremely excited and could not calm down for a long time. In the past, he didn't even dare to think about the position of commander because it was an unattainable existence. But who would have thought that he would actually sit in this position now? And all of this was because of one person, Qin Feiyong. If it wasn't for this person, he would probably be an insignificant prison guard for the rest of his life. He had made the right choice when he chose to help Qin Feiyong. Time flew by. 2 months passed in the blink of an eye. Boom. On this day, Qin Feiyong's arm trembled, and a bright light gushed out from his fingertips. At the same time, his aura rose crazily. In less than 3 breaths, he suddenly became a 5-star combat emperor. Lu Xingchen opened his eyes and looked at Qin Feiyong in surprise. What's going on? For the past 2 months, Qin Feiyong had been standing there writing something. He didn't even see him cultivate, so how did he break through? And so quickly? Phew! Qin Feiyong let out a long breath, and his eyes shone with rays of light. That was desire. Just one more stroke, and he would be able to master the battle formula. At that time, his combat strength would undoubtedly rise to another level. I'm really looking forward to the appearance of the next divine formula. He muttered to himself, and the light in his eyes dimmed. He turned his head and looked at Lu Xingchen, and said, when can you break through? Lu Xingchen shook his head and said with a wry smile, I can't compare with you, but it will be soon. However, I can't guarantee how long it will take. Then let's continue. Qin Feiyang said and turned back to copy the 9th stroke. Originally, he wanted to go out and explore the situation. However, he couldn't be at ease leaving Lu Xingchen alone in the ancient castle. Because now, the white-eyed wolf was unconscious. Fatso, Lu Hong, Lin Yi, Luo Chenxue, and the pangolin were no match for Lu Xingchen. Although Lu Xingchen was very easygoing now, what if he had ulterior motives? What if he was unfavorable to Fatso and the others when he left the ancient castle? Therefore, it was better to take precautions. Another 2 months passed. Lu Xingchen finally broke through to the 6-star combat emperor. However, after 2 months of copying, Qin Feiyang was only able to copy half of the 9th painting. This made him feel very helpless. Whether it was the return formula or the battle formula, the last stroke required a lot of battle chi and time. Closing the 6-word formula and closing the iron box, Qin Feiyang took a few battle chi pills and sat cross-legged to recover his battle chi. In less than half an hour, his essence, chi, and spirit returned to their peak state. Qin Feiyang got up, looked at Lu Xingchen, and smiled faintly. Are you ready? Lu Xingchen smiled and said, attack at any time. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and appeared in the dense forest with Lu Xingchen. Nearby, there was a group of blackstone apes. Some were hunting. Some were lying on the ground, or resting on stones, or branches of big trees. Some were playing in the jungle. Someone's aura. But when Qin Feiyang and Lu Xingchen appeared, all the blackstone apes locked onto them in an instant. It's you guys. You haven't left yet. You really don't know what's good for you. Boom! Suddenly, all the blackstone apes nearby had an astonishing murderous look in their eyes as they madly rushed towards the two of them. Lu Xingchen frowned and asked, should we kill them? Qin Feiyang glanced at the group of apes, his gaze rather gloomy, and shook his head. We can't kill them, otherwise that Monkey King will definitely pester us. Whoosh! The two of them rushed out of the jungle. The group of apes also chased up into the sky, filled with hostility. Ignore them. Before the Monkey King comes out, let's quickly search this area and see if there are any suspicious things. Qin Feiyang said in a low voice. Without any hesitation, he used the phantom steps and constantly flashed in the air, leaving behind after images. Lu Xingchen also used mysterious steps and sped towards the other side. Stop them. Blackstone apes appeared from all directions. But today was different from the past. Qin Feiyang's current speed and strength were completely on par with the 9-star combat emperor. As long as he didn't fight head-on, no matter how many blackstone apes there were, they wouldn't be able to cause any actual harm to him. He was like a loach, shuttling through the group of apes. The sky was filled with his phantoms. Many of the apes thought that they had attacked him, but in the end, they only attacked his phantoms. This was also the terrifying part of the phantom steps. Every phantom could be passed off as the real thing. Before the phantom dissipated, it was difficult to tell whether it was the real body or not. Qin Feiyang dodged while carefully searching. Compared to Qin Feiyang, Lu Xingchen's situation was not good. Although his speed was comparable to the 9-star combat emperor, there were no phantoms. The blackstone apes that were chasing him could always lock onto him. A blackstone ape roared. Don't worry about that person. Let's get rid of him first. More than half of the blackstone apes that were chasing Qin Feiyang immediately turned around and surrounded Lu Xingchen. Only less than half of the apes were left. They were pestering Qin Feiyang. These guys are quite smart. Qin Feiyang muttered. He didn't care about Lu Xingchen. He took the opportunity to quickly search. At the same time, he could also see how capable Lu Xingchen was. Lu Xingchen ran while scanning the blackstone apes around him. Now, he couldn't care less about searching, because he was surrounded by danger several times. Human, you can't escape. A few blackstone apes at the back bared their teeth. Their eyes were filled with terrifying ferocity as they pounced on Lu Xingchen. Lu Xingchen flashed and retreated to the side. He roared, Brother Qin, I can't hold on any longer. Hurry up! Before his voice died away. Behind him, more than 10 blackstone apes pounced on him fiercely. Armor of wind. Lu Xingchen's eyes darkened. Accompanied by a low roar, the power of wind emerged and condensed into an armor on his body. His speed had actually increased again. Although it didn't increase by a small realm, it had already surpassed a 9-star combat emperor. Swoosh! He took a step forward and quickly shuttled through the group of apes in front of him. Boom! But just as he was about to continue fleeing, a black stone ape suddenly rushed up and punched him in the back. This ape had the strength of a 9-star combat emperor. It had been eyeing Lu Xingchen for a long time in order to kill him. Crack! The power of one punch was terrifying. Lu Xingchen's armor of wind shattered on the spot. His whole body was blasted away and blood spurted out from his mouth. However, he quickly stabilized his body and continued to flee. He didn't look like he was seriously injured. Seeing this scene, the ape that attacked Lu Xingchen had a trace of surprise in its eyes. Qin Feiyang also noticed the situation here and couldn't help but be shocked. One must know. That black stone ape had definitely used all its strength. And Lu Xingchen was only a 6-star combat emperor. Even with the armor of wind protecting him, it was impossible for him to escape unscathed. The only explanation was that the armor of wind could not only increase his speed, but also had an extremely strong defensive power. Lu Xingchen shouted, "Brother Qin, are you done?" Qin Feiyang said, "Hold it for a while longer. Everyone come out and kill him." The ape that attacked Lu Xingchen roared. Roar! Accompanied by the deafening roars of beasts, the black stone apes continued to rush out from the forest below. In an instant, a dense pack of monkeys appeared in the void. In a blink of an eye, there were 400 to 500 of them. And they all had 3 heads. Damn, are they trying to kill me? Lu Xingchen's expression changed and he hurriedly said, "Brother Qin, I have to make a move, otherwise I will be killed later." Qin Feiyang said, "Just don't kill them." Boom! The group of monkeys swarmed forward, their aura surging and shaking the mountains and rivers. These were 400 to 500 combat Emperor Realm beasts. If it was anyone else, they would be scared out of their wits. The nervousness on Lu Xingchen's face was also undisguised. If he could kill them, he could crush a large number of them with a wave of his hand. Because most of the monkeys here were below the 8-star combat Emperor realm. Chapter 479. You must control your strength well. Lu Xingchen grumbled. Whirlwind. He waved his hand and a hurricane appeared. It made an ear-piercing whistling sound and roared in all directions. Wherever it passed, the black stone apes were sent flying. So you have been hiding and cultivating for the past 4 months. But even if you have broken through to the 6-star combat emperor, you can't do anything. More than a dozen 9-star combat emperor blackstone apes dashed towards the hurricane. Their violent energy swept across all directions. Boom! The hurricane was forcefully crushed. Lu Xingchen's body trembled and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His face turned pale. Lu Xingchen wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and looked at the apes with a gloomy expression. He said angrily, "Don't go too far." One of the blackstone apes said, "When I asked you to leave, you refused to leave. We really mean no harm. You have all seen it. After fighting for so long, have we ever harmed your lives? I don't think so. As for 4 months ago, we had no choice but to kill you because you forced us to. Why do you have to hold on to it?" Lu Xingchen frowned and said. The black stone ape said, "You cut off my arm. That is an unforgivable crime." Lu Xingchen looked at the ape in surprise and said, "What happened to your arm?" Qin Feiyang heard and turned to look at the ape. His pupils suddenly shrank. The arm that was cut off by Lu Xingchen 4 months ago had actually been restored to its original state? How could it be? Could it be that there were regeneration pills here? If there were, then there must be an alchemist here. Swoosh! Qin Feiyang used the phantom steps and landed beside Lu Xingchen in a few blinks of an eye. Lu Xingchen asked, "How is it?" Qin Feiyang said, "We have searched this part of the canyon and didn't find anything suspicious. However, these black stone apes are a little suspicious." Lu Xingchen nodded. The black storm in the abyss could crush everything. It was impossible for pills to fall from above. Then the only explanation was that someone was refining pills for these fierce beasts. "Let's try them," Qin Feiyang said in a low voice. Then, he suddenly attacked. Red Sword Chi appeared and turned into 3 fiery red sword shadows. Guiyuan Sword Technique, slash. Following his low roar, 3 sword shadows whizzed towards an 8-star combat emperor ape. "You still dare to be impudent?" Dang! The surrounding monkeys once again launched a ferocious attack. Do you really think we're sick cats just because we don't show our might? Tornado storm. Lu Xingchen raised his eyebrows and narrowed his eyes. The power of wind gushed out, and an astonishing tornado appeared in the blink of an eye. With him and Qin Feiyong as the center, it whistled in all directions. Immediately, those attacking apes were swept up one after another. Even the 9-star combat Emperor Blackstone apes were on the verge of collapsing in the raging wind. Qin Feiyong was surprised. The power of this tornado storm was actually infinitely close to a perfect battle art. This Lu Xingchen was indeed not a simple character. In the blink of an eye, Qin Feiyong's 3 sword shadows also arrived with a whistling sound, cutting off the ape's arm as easily as crushing dry weeds. Ayo! The ape screamed on the spot. Then, Qin Feiyong nodded to Lu Xingchen. Lu Xingchen understood and waved his hand. The tornado storm exploded with a terrifying killing power. That wind blade was like a sharp blade. The arms of every Blackstone ape that was swept up were instantly cut off. Miserable howls resounded in all directions. Fresh blood spurted out like a fountain. In an instant, the tornado storm was dyed blood red, as if it was condensed from fresh blood. It roared in the void and was extremely terrifying. Damn humans, if I don't kill you, the heavens will not tolerate it. Seeing this, those 9-star combat Emperor Blackstone apes all went berserk. Wait! Qin Feiyong hurriedly stretched out his hand and shouted. But those Blackstone apes turned a deaf ear. Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed, and he took out a regeneration pill with 2 pill veins, and said, I have a pill that can help them repair their arms. Who cares about your pill? Dang. However, those Blackstone apes were not moved in the slightest. Qin Feiyong said in a low voice, It seems that there really is someone here. Kill. We can't be so passive anymore. At the same time, let's try to lure that person out. Lu Xingchen's eyes flashed with a cold light. Qin Feiyong glanced at the crazy group of monkeys, gritted his teeth, and said, Okay, do it. Boom. Ayo! Lu Xingchen waved his hands fiercely, and the power of the tornado storm burst out. For a moment, the apes that were swept up were chopped into pieces as if they were vegetables, and their blood dyed the mountains and rivers. Bastards, all of you must die. Those 9-star combat Emperor Blackstone apes beat their chests and stomped their feet, full of grief and indignation. Humph! It's your own fault for being stubborn, who can you blame? Qin Feiyong snorted coldly, and pointed his index finger in the air. Ultimate ruin! The invisible force was vast and boundless, like a torrent, instantly drowning those 9-star combat Emperor Blackstone apes. Immediately, their skin and flesh were lacerated, and their flesh and blood splattered everywhere. The intense pain made them howl miserably. Humans, all of you deserve to die. An angry roar suddenly exploded. At the peak of the mountain ahead, the Monkey King swept out, bringing with it an earth-shattering ferocious aura, and broke through the air like lightning. With just you? Lu Xingchen sneered, and the tornado storm swept across the sky, rolling up those 9-star combat Emperor Blackstone apes. Roar! The wind blade was invincible. Accompanied by painful howls, all the 9-star combat Emperor Blackstone apes were cut into pieces in an instant, and their blood dyed the void. That bloody scene was like the Azura hell, and it was appalling. Monkey King, we have already retreated again and again. I advise you not to be too greedy. If you insist on pestering us to the end, then don't blame us for being ruthless and killing all of your monkeys. Qin Feiyong shouted. Preposterous. You 2 humans are too arrogant. This emperor wants to see how you will slaughter this emperor's monkeys. The Monkey King was unable to restrain his anger, and the aura of a combat master was like a tsunami in the vast ocean, covering the sky and covering the earth, rushing towards the 2 of them. You'll regret it soon. Qin Feiyong's eyes were filled with murderous intent, and his index finger pointed continuously. Waves of invisible force, like a torrent of ferocious beasts, blasted towards the mountain below. At the same time, Lu Xingchen's ferocious nature erupted as well, and the tornado roared downwards with an astonishing force. Rumble! Accompanied by an earth-shattering sound, the land within a 1-mile radius was instantly turned into ashes. It was unknown how many Blackstone apes were killed, and their blood splattered everywhere. You 2 are too much, too much. The Monkey King was furious, and the 8 eyes on its 4 heads all turned blood red, as if they were dyed in blood. Too much? Otherwise, if you insist on killing us, would we be so ruthless? Qin Feiyong said coldly. Cut the crap, today, either you die or I die. The Monkey King had completely gone mad. Its aura surged, imprisoning Qin Feiyong and Lu Xingchen. The aura seemed to be squeezing them, and blood spurted out from all the pores on their bodies. Qin Feiyong would be better off. After all, he had opened the third stage of the Gate of Potential, and had a certain degree of immunity to the aura. However, Lu Xingchen, who had not opened the Gate of Potential, was not immune at all. His internal organs were being squeezed by the aura, and were on the verge of bursting. However, this was only the beginning. The Monkey King took a few steps in the air, and its dustpan-sized hands surged with battle chi, slapping toward Qin Feiyong and Lu Xingchen. Before the gigantic hands landed, the terrifying force caused Qin Feiyong and Lu Xingchen to tremble. Their skin was torn, and their bodies were drenched in blood. We can't take it head-on. Qin Feiyong's gaze was gloomy. Back then, the white-eyed wolf had almost been killed because he took Zhao He's attack head-on. Break for me! Qin Feiyong roared in anger, and the blood in his body boiled. Boom! He forcibly broke free from the aura's confinement, grabbed Lu Xingchen, and instantly disappeared without a trace. At the instant when the two of them disappeared, the Monkey King's palm arrived, and the void actually distorted. It was truly unbelievable. How powerful was that palm? If they were hit by it, the two of them would definitely be smashed into pieces. Bastard! If you have the guts, don't hide your head and tail. Come out now! The Monkey King's roar was like thunder, and its battle chi surged out in all directions like tidal waves. Boom! The ground below was directly blasted into a bottomless pit, and dust and smoke covered several miles of land. Inside the ancient castle, Qin Feiyong and Lu Xingchen both had faces full of fear. Lu Xingchen said in a deep voice, "This monkey is too strong. If we don't break through to War Master, we have no chance of winning." War Master? Qin Feiyong shook his head and laughed bitterly. Right now, he was only a 5-star War Emperor, and was 4 small realms away from War Master. Breaking through to War Master in a short period of time was simply an unrealistic problem. As for Lu Xingchen, that was even more impossible. Without opening the door of potential, it would take even longer. Gradually, the commotion outside gradually calmed down. Qin Feiyong said, "It has already left." Lu Xingchen asked, "Then what do we do next?" Qin Feiyong said, "Let's go to the mountain peak where the Monkey King lives first." Lu Xingchen looked at him in shock. He actually took the initiative to go to the Monkey King's lair? Was this guy really not afraid of death? Why? Lu Xingchen asked. He really couldn't think of a reason to go to the peak of the mountain. For months ago, we blew up a lot of monkeys' heads, but today, they've all recovered. And in these 4 months, we haven't heard any human voices. This means that the pill should be on the Monkey King. Qin Feiyong said. Lu Xingchen said, "So you suspect that the alchemist might also be at the peak of the mountain?" Yes. Qin Feiyong nodded. Although it was only a suspicion, it was still necessary to confirm it. After all, they still didn't know anything about this. Lu Xingchen pondered for a moment, then nodded and said, "All right, let's go to the peak of the mountain." The two of them took a top-grade alchemist and left the castle. The ancient castle was exposed to the outside and would sink on its own. Therefore, the place where they appeared now was inside the sinkhole. However, just as they appeared, a terrifying pressure enveloped them. The two of them raised their heads and saw the Monkey King standing above the deep pit, its eyes flashing with an astonishing ferocious light. Not good. The mystery of the ancient castle has been seen through by it. Qin Feiyong's heart trembled. Although the ancient castle was heaven-defying, its flaws also gave him a headache. The first was that he couldn't see the situation outside and could only rely on his ears to listen. The second flaw was that he couldn't move. Without these 2 flaws, not to mention the War Master, even an existence that surpassed the War Master wouldn't be able to do anything to him. Boom. It returned to its original form and began to dig. In less than 5 breaths, a huge black hole appeared on the ground. Qin Feiyong said to Lu Xingchen, "You go in first. Remember to hide your aura." Lu Xingchen swooped down and entered the black hole. After waiting for about 100 breaths, Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed with a cold light, and his index finger pointed 4 times in the air. Immediately, 4 invisible forces roared in 4 different directions and blasted into the mountains not far away. Boom! Accompanied by a series of loud noises, everything within a radius of thousands of meters was instantly turned into dust. At the same time, many black stone apes were splattered on the spot. Roar! On the mountain peak, the Monkey King's angry roar sounded. Following closely, Qin Feiyong saw a light shadow rushing out from the mountain peak and rushing in this direction. Damn monkey, the good show is yet to come. Qin Feiyong sneered, turned in the air, and rushed into the black hole like lightning. At the same time as he entered the black hole, he waved his hand, and the battle chi spread in all directions. The entrance of the hole suddenly collapsed. The entrance of the hole was instantly submerged in mud. When the Monkey King rushed here and saw that Qin Feiyong was gone again, it immediately went crazy with anger. Inside the cave, Qin Feiyong restrained his aura and chased for about 100 breaths before finally catching up with Lu Xingqian and the pangolin. Lu Xingqian asked, "Did you fight with the Monkey King just now?" "No." Qin Feiyong shook his head. What a joke. The Monkey King was so strong, fighting with it, wasn't it courting death? Lu Xingqian asked. "Then what was the commotion just now?" Qin Feiyong said, "I killed a few black stone apes and sealed the cave entrance while I was at it." "Why did you kill them?" Lu Xingqian was puzzled. "Of course it's to lure the Monkey King out." Qin Feiyong said. "If the Monkey King was at the top of the mountain, even if they went over, they wouldn't dare to show up. And now, the Monkey King would definitely think that they were still hiding in the ancient castle and would definitely wait for a period of time. During this period of time, they would have the opportunity to sneak to the top of the mountain." Lu Xingqian was secretly shocked. No matter what he did it flawlessly. Qin Feiyong's brain was indeed incomparable to that of ordinary people. The pangolin's digging ability was also unparalleled in the world. No matter how hard the stone was, it could directly dig a tunnel. Qin Feiyong looked curiously for a while and asked, "Pangolin, can you dig directly to the top of the mountain?" "Nonsense. I can dig it even with my eyes closed." The pangolin looked at him with disdain. Qin Feiyong smiled and didn't say anything else. About an hour later, the pangolin began to dig upwards. Another half an hour passed. The pangolin dug and suddenly dug out the ground, and light appeared again. 2 people and 1 pangolin rushed out and stood on a large stone, scanning the surroundings. This was indeed the top of the mountain. Around them, there were rocks and weeds. Green ancient trees with luxuriant branches and leaves stood at the edge of the mountain like giant umbrellas. The pangolin's eyes suddenly focused and locked onto a certain place. It said in surprise, "Look, there's a cave there." "A cave?" Qin Feiyong and Lu Xingqian turned their heads and saw a pitch-black cliff 100 meters behind them. Moss had already grown on the cliff, and there were also green vines that crisscrossed and covered every corner of the cliff. And in the center of the cliff, there was a large cave entrance. The pangolin said, "Let's go in and take a look. Maybe there are some treasures." Treasures? Qin Feiyong didn't think much of it. This cave should be the Monkey King's cave residence. That alchemist was very likely to be inside. Just in case, you should go to the ancient castle first. Qin Feiyong looked at the pangolin and said, "All right, I'll continue to cultivate." The pangolin was also straightforward. Because it knew that with Qin Feiyong here, even if there were treasures in the cave, it wouldn't have a share. Qin Feiyong waved his hand and sent the pangolin into the ancient castle. Then, he turned and walked to the side of a large tree at the edge of the mountain peak and looked down. Standing here, although he couldn't see the Monkey King, he could clearly feel its ferocious aura. Lu Xingqian walked to Qin Feiyong's side and said with a smile, "It really fell for it." Qin Feiyong smiled faintly and said, "Let's go in and take a look." The 2 turned and walked to the front of the cliff. Lu Xingqian took a deep breath and whispered, "Be careful." Qin Feiyong nodded. Lu Xingqian was about to enter the cave when Qin Feiyong glanced at the ground. His pupils suddenly shrank, and he pulled Lu Xingqian. "Wait." The sudden change scared Lu Xingqian so much that he broke out in cold sweat. He whispered, "What's wrong?" "Look over there." Qin Feiyong pointed at the ground beside the cave. Lu Xingqian looked over, his eyes full of doubt. The ground was inlaid with some kind of black stone. After the erosion of time, it had become extremely broken. Some vines and dried leaves were crawling on the stone. There was nothing strange about it. Something was wrong. There was a piece of ground that didn't have vines, moss, or dried leaves. This piece of ground was about 3 to 4 meters wide. Other places had vines, but this was the only place that didn't have vines. It didn't make sense. Qin Feiyang pondered for a moment. Suddenly, his eyes trembled and he said in a low voice, "If I'm not wrong, this should be where the Monkey King is sitting." "What?" Lu Xingqian turned pale with fright. If that was the case, wouldn't the Monkey King be the guardian of this cave? He originally thought that the cave was the Monkey King's cave. He didn't expect that it was only guarding this cave. What was hiding in this cave? The two stood in front of the cave, not daring to take another step forward. Their eyes were flickering. Qin Feiyang gritted his teeth and said in a low voice, "Who cares, let's go in." "Yes, how can we catch tiger cubs without entering the tiger's den?" Lu Xingqian nodded. The two of them mustered up their courage and walked into the cave. There was no light inside, and it seemed a little gloomy. Qin Feiyang spread out his big hands. Flaming battle qi emerged, illuminating the place. It turned out that this was only a passage. The passage was slanted downwards. The two of them walked down carefully. Soon, they could feel that the air had turned cold. As they went deeper, the temperature became colder. After about 10 breaths, a little crystal light suddenly appeared in front of them. They didn't see wrong. It was not the light of fire, nor was it the light of night pearls or moonstones. It was like a crystal emitting light in the darkness. Then, the two of them held their breaths and walked over silently. The temperature was also getting colder and colder. Their eyebrows and hair were already covered with a layer of frost. It was so cold that it made them tremble. As they got closer, the crystal light became more obvious. After a few breaths, the two of them finally saw the glowing object clearly. It turned out that it was ice. They saw an ice cave more than 10 meters in front of them. It was full of ice. When they walked here, the cold air attacked them, making them feel a piercing pain. The two of them gritted their teeth and walked to the ice cave, looking at everything in surprise. It wasn't snowing here, and the weather outside wasn't cold, but how could there be an ice cave? And this ice didn't show any signs of melting. This was obviously against common sense. And even if it was ice, it couldn't emit light in the dark. Could it be that this wasn't ordinary ice? Suddenly, Qin Feiyang's eyes focused and looked into the depths of the ice. There was actually another blurry figure inside. Were his eyes playing tricks on him? Lu Xingqian also noticed it and felt very incredulous. The two of them rubbed their eyes at the same time and looked again. The blurry figure was still there. They weren't playing tricks on them. It really existed. That figure was about 1.78 meters tall. From the outline, it should be a person. Chapter 481. I once heard that some powerhouses would use battle aura to seal themselves and wait for others to rescue them in order to avoid being hunted down by enemies or on the eve of their death. Brother Qin, do you think that the person inside the ice is an expert like that? Lu Xingqian pondered for a while and whispered. Qin Feiyang was surprised and turned to look at Lu Xingqian. Who did you hear this from? What Lu Xingqian said did exist. But this was a secret. There was a historical book in the imperial palace that recorded it. However, this historical book was placed in the emperor's study. As for the emperor's study, even the former Qin Feiyang didn't dare to barge in without the emperor's permission. Therefore, in the current Great Qin Empire, there were definitely no more than 10 people who knew about this. However, Lu Xingqian actually knew so much about it. Although he was a supreme-grade alchemist, he was only from the spiritual state. It was really strange. Lu Xingqian's eyes flashed and he smiled. I only said that I heard it by chance, and I don't know who this person is. There's a problem. Qin Feiyang muttered to himself. This Lu Xingqian was definitely not as simple as he seemed on the surface. However, he did not show any doubts and shook his head. I have never heard of these things before, so I don't dare to jump to conclusions. I see. It seems that this is just a rumor and can't be trusted. Lu Xingqian smiled faintly. Rumor? Qin Feiyang could not help but sneer in his heart. Lu Xingqian must have realized that he had let it slip and wanted to cover it up. However, he did not know that it was purely a cover-up. Clang! Qin Feiyang did not say much and took out Chang Shui. Seeing Chang Shui, Lu Xingchen's eyes had a trace of fear. Brother Qin, before breaking the ice, you have to think carefully. There's nothing to consider. Qin Feiyang stepped forward and used the Chang Shui to lightly cut the ice. A crack immediately appeared. So sharp. Lu Xingchen retreated. Seeing that the Chang Shui could cut through the ice, Qin Feiyang waved the Chang Shui to break the ice. Bang! Not long after, a large piece of ice fell to the ground. Wait! As the ice fell off, Lu Xingchen's expression changed drastically. He hurriedly grabbed Qin Feiyang's arm. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. However, in the next instant, his expression changed drastically. Furthermore, he decisively retreated from the ice cave, his eyes filled with disbelief. As the piece of ice had fallen off, the layer of ice had become thinner, so the frozen figure could now be clearly seen. It wasn't a person, but a black stone ape. If it was just an ordinary black stone ape, Qin Feiyang and Lu Xingchen would not be so shocked. What surprised them was that the black stone ape inside the ice actually had 5 heads. This meant that this beast was an existence that surpassed the War Master. Lu Xingchen swallowed his saliva and said, I finally understand why those black stone apes chased us away. This ape is the real Monkey King. Hurry up and leave. Qin Feiyang bellowed, turned around and ran outside without looking back. Lu Xingchen looked at the black stone ape, a light flashed in the depths of his eyes, and he also turned around and left. However, before the two of them could reach the entrance of the cave, a terrifying might came from outside. Lu Xingchen said in a low voice, Not good, the Monkey King is back. Qin Feiyang immediately stopped, his heart in his throat. But fortunately, the Monkey King did not discover them and did not enter the cave. Lu Xingchen asked, What do we do now? Qin Feiyang said, We can only let the pangolin beast come out and dig a hole. With a wave of his hand, the pangolin beast immediately appeared. Bastard, you actually dare to barge in here. But just as the pangolin beast came out, the Monkey King outside roared. Following closely, Qin Feiyang and Lu Xingchen felt that the Monkey King's aura had entered the cave and was rapidly approaching them. How did it discover us? Lu Xingchen was bewildered. Qin Feiyang also frowned, suddenly shook his head, and laughed bitterly. It should be footprints. Lu Xingchen was slightly startled, and could not help but laugh bitterly. Before entering the cave, they stopped at the entrance of the cave. It must have been at that time that they left their footprints on the ground. It was truly a mistake. The pangolin beast glanced at the two of them and said angrily, Hey, I say, you two, can't you wait until we escape and then talk about this useless nonsense? We can't escape. Lu Xingchen shook his head. It was too late to dig a hole now. Unless they hid in the ancient castle again. But it was impossible to hide in there forever. Let's take a gamble. Qin Feiyang gritted his teeth and led Lu Xingchen and the pangolin beast into the ancient castle. Almost at the next moment, the Monkey King arrived at the place where they disappeared, but it did not stop and went straight to the ice cave. After the Monkey King disappeared, Qin Feiyang and Lu Xingchen appeared out of thin air again. They concealed their auras in advance and rushed toward the entrance of the cave. Damn bastards! I'll kill you! In the depths of the cave, an angry roar exploded. The Monkey King hurriedly turned around and flew toward the entrance of the cave. Its speed is too fast. Quickly hide! Lu Xingchen shouted in a low voice, and his face was somewhat pale. The Monkey King was completely enraged. If they were caught, the consequences would be unimaginable. Qin Feiyang did not dare to hesitate. He grabbed Lu Xingchen and entered the ancient castle again. The Monkey King chased out of the cave, but it did not see Qin Feiyang and Lu Xingchen. It was instantly flustered and exasperated. Inside the ancient castle, Lu Xingchen sighed and said, It seems that we are trapped here. Qin Feiyang felt the same. Now, the Monkey King was on high alert. If they let the pangolin beast continue digging, it would definitely be discovered by the Monkey King. Because of the digging, there would be some noise. Hence, this method was no longer feasible. But it was not that there was no other way. That Monkey King that was sealed in ice must have sealed itself. According to ancient records, this kind of self-sealing could allow one to maintain their life. For example, if they sealed themselves 1,000 years ago and unsealed themselves 1,000 years later, they could continue to live. But there was a fatal flaw. Firstly, their cultivation would regress with the passage of time. This meant that their cultivation would drop bit by bit. Secondly, a large amount of fresh blood was needed to awaken the self-sealing Monkey King. If there was no fresh blood, even if you ruthlessly beat it or even killed it, it would not awaken. And this point was just right for them to make use of. As long as they got their hands on that frozen Monkey King, the Monkey King outside would definitely hesitate to attack them. However, this method was somewhat risky. Because this way, it would definitely make the Monkey King even angrier. In the future, as long as they were still in this canyon, they would definitely not let them go. In fact, this was a gamble. And now, there seemed to be no other way. Let's do it. Immediately. He told Lu Xingchen the plan. After listening, Lu Xingchen was slightly stunned and said in surprise, "Didn't you say that you don't know about self-sealing?" Qin Feiyong smiled faintly and said, "I'm the same as you. It's just hearsay." Lu Xingchen said, "In that case, this might not be a rumor?" Qin Feiyong said, "I don't know if it's a rumor or not. I only know that we can't be trapped here. We have to take a gamble." Lu Xingchen pondered for a moment and nodded. "All right, it's rare to work with you. Today, I'll risk my life to accompany you. You're quite good at pretending." Qin Feiyong sneered secretly. He restrained his aura to the extreme and appeared in the passage with Lu Xingchen. Looking at the direction of the cave entrance, the two of them rushed toward the ice cave. When they arrived at the ice cave, Qin Feiyong directly took out the Chang Shui and gently cut the ice. Right now, they couldn't make the slightest movement. Because if they alerted the Monkey King, it would definitely keep guarding here. At that time, they would really be trapped here for the rest of their lives. But things didn't go as they wished. Whatever they wanted to do came true. The two of them clearly felt that the Monkey King's aura had entered the cave and was rapidly approaching them. "We can't dawdle like this anymore. Hurry up!" Lu Xingchen growled. Qin Feiyong's eyes darkened. He grabbed the Chang Shui and swung it like lightning. The friction between the Chang Shui and the ice made an ear-piercing sound. The Monkey King immediately sensed it and roared, "Damn bastards, I won't forgive you." Qin Feiyong shouted, "Seal the passage." Lu Xingchen raised his head and waved. The power of the wind appeared and blasted forward. Boom! Accompanied by a loud sound, the soil and stones above the passage suddenly collapsed. Roar! The Monkey King roared. Its battle aura turned into a torrent, and the soil and stones in front of it were turned into ashes. "Faster!" Lu Xingchen roared. Qin Feiyong's face was gloomy. Although the Monkey King was about to arrive, he didn't lose his mind and didn't panic. Pieces of ice were constantly being cut down. At this moment, the layer of ice was only half a foot thick. Boom! In less than 3 breaths, the Monkey King suddenly rushed out of the dust. Seeing Qin Feiyong's actions, its aura suddenly surged and rushed toward Qin Feiyong. Crack! It was also at this moment that a piece of ice fell. Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed. Chang Shui sank into the ice and shouted, "Withdraw your aura immediately, or I will pierce its heart." "How dare you!" The Monkey King shouted angrily. Qin Feiyong's arm slightly exerted force. The current layer of ice was only a finger thick. It couldn't stop Chang Shui at all. Seeing that Chang Shui's sharp blade was about to pierce the frozen monkey's chest, the Monkey King hurriedly withdrew its aura and said, Don't, let's talk." Swish! Seeing this, Lu Xingchen also quickly retreated to Qin Feiyong's side. Then the two of them looked at each other, and a hint of joy crept into their eyes. This time, it seemed that they had made the right bet. The Monkey King glanced at the two of them and locked its eyes on Qin Feiyong. It said in a deep voice, "Withdraw your dagger, and I will let you go." "Impossible." Qin Feiyong shook his head. "That's right. If you really wait for us to withdraw our daggers, I'm afraid you will immediately kill us." Lu Xingchen said. A fierce light flashed in the depths of the Monkey King's 8 eyes at the same time. It said, "I am a man of my word." Qin Feiyong snorted coldly. "Humph. We are not idiots. Your promise is useless to us. Then what do you want? Let me tell you, if you dare to touch a single hair on it, even if you escape to the ends of the earth, I will not let you go," the Monkey King said sternly. The fierce light in its eyes made people feel cold all over. Qin Feiyong said, "Don't worry, as long as you cooperate with us, we will not hurt it." Chapter 482. Qin Feiyang said, "Leave the cave and wait for us outside." "Impossible." The Monkey King shook its head decisively. Qin Feiyang sneered. "Do you think you have the right to refuse now? Anyway, I won't leave the cave. If I really kill it, you won't be able to live today either." The Monkey King said coldly. "This guy is really difficult to deal with." Qin Feiyang frowned and said in a low voice, "Lu Xingchen, help me get this monkey out." Lu Xingchen nodded and took out a dagger to cut the ice. Clang! But it only left a white mark. "What's going on?" Lu Xingchen was shocked. Qin Feiyang was also surprised. Whoosh! At this moment, the Monkey King's eyes flashed coldly. It suddenly rushed toward Qin Feiyang and Lu Xingchen. "Do you want to die?" Qin Feiyang shouted and exerted some force with his arm. Accompanied by a crisp crack, Chong Shue's dagger penetrated deeper. "Don't!" The Monkey King hurriedly stopped. Its 8 eyes were full of panic. "Back off!" Qin Feiyang shouted. "Okay." The Monkey King retreated to its original position. Lu Xingchen took out a battle sword and slashed at the ice with all his strength. Clang! In the end, the ice did not break. Instead, the battle sword broke. "How can this be?" Lu Xingchen was stunned. He gritted his teeth and took out a pitch-black broadsword. The blade flashed with a bone-piercing sharpness. He slashed with all his strength. The result was the same. The broadsword broke. "Don't waste your energy. This ice is formed by the battle chi of this monkey. It has 5 heads. Its strength must be unfathomable. I'm afraid it's impossible for ordinary weapons to break through this ice," Qin Feiyang said. "Then what should we do?" Lu Xingchen asked. The Monkey King was glaring at them like a tiger watching its prey. Ordinary weapons wouldn't be able to break through the ice. Right now, if they wanted to take this monkey away, it would be extremely difficult. "Now we have to get it away," Qin Feiyang said in a low voice, his eyes flashing with a thoughtful light. Suddenly, with a thought, a rib appeared and said, "Let's see if we can break the ice." Lu Xingchen grabbed it in his hand and stared hard at Han Bing. Crack! The ice immediately cracked. "Can I?" Lu Xingchen's eyes lit up. The Monkey King turned pale with fright. "Don't move." Qin Feiyang stared at it. Lu Xingchen raised his hand and quickly smashed the ice. The Monkey King grew increasingly anxious. Boom! Seeing that the last piece of ice was about to be shattered by Lu Xingchen, it could no longer hold back and roared out. "Do you want it to die?" Qin Feiyang's eyes darkened. Chong Shui penetrated a few inches and easily broke through the frozen monkey's fur. "No." The Monkey King hurriedly withdrew his pressure, his eyes filled with panic. He was also extremely angry in his heart. Qin Feiyang said, "Don't worry, I won't hurt it. When we leave the canyon, I will return it to you." The Monkey King roared. "Can the words of humans be trusted?" Qin Feiyang said, "I, Qin Feiyang, will do what I say, but the premise is that you don't do anything to harm us." The Monkey King's eyes flickered. In the end, he gritted his teeth and nodded. "All right, this emperor will believe you this once." Crack! The last piece of ice finally broke. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and sent the ice monkey to the castle. The Monkey King's gaze changed as he hurriedly asked, "Where did you send it?" Qin Feiyang put away Chong Shui and said indifferently, "It is in my hiding treasure. If you dare to touch us now, it will immediately die." Lu Xingchen returned the rib to Qin Feiyang and said with a smile, "Get out of the way, don't block our way." The Monkey King retreated to the side. Qin Feiyang and Lu Xingchen looked at each other and carefully walked past it. Unexpectedly, the Monkey King did not make a move against them, but followed behind them all the way. After walking out of the cave, Qin Feiyang turned to look at the Monkey King and said, "If I'm not wrong, there should be other people here." The Monkey King frowned and asked, "Who are you looking for?" Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and Ren Duxing's shadow appeared. "Has he been to the canyon?" The Monkey King raised his head and his pupils shrank slightly. But then, there was a trace of confusion in those 8 eyes. He shook his head and said, "I've never seen him, and in the past 10,000 years, the only humans who have entered this canyon are you." "You really haven't seen him?" Qin Feiyang frowned. The Monkey King nodded. Lu Xingchen asked, "Did we guess wrong?" "Don't jump to conclusions first. Although this is only a large canyon, it surrounds the entire ruins. You can imagine how long it is. There are many places to hide, Qin Feiyang said. He lowered his head and muttered to himself, feeling that something was wrong. Suddenly, a thought flashed through his mind. It turned out that the Monkey King had unknowingly changed the topic. He looked at the Monkey King again and said in a deep voice, "Since there is no one else in the canyon, how did your monkeys recover their arms and heads?" The Monkey King said, "We black stone apes have the ability to repair ourselves. So that's how it is." Lu Xingqian suddenly understood. Qin Feiyang said, "It's not like that." Ha! The Monkey King and Lu Xingqian both looked at him in surprise. Qin Feiyang looked at the Monkey King and sneered. "You're lying." The Monkey King said angrily. "When did this emperor lie?" Qin Feiyang said, "Although I have never seen the black stone apes before, I still know you guys very well. You don't have the ability to heal at all." "How do you know?" The Monkey King was extremely surprised. "Don't worry about how I know. Now I can already conclude that there must be someone here." "Where the hell is he? Tell me quickly," Qin Feiyang shouted. The Monkey King said, "There are really no other humans here." "Still not telling the truth, are you?" Qin Feiyang shouted angrily, and his patience gradually began to wear out. "This emperor really doesn't know. This emperor has always been in this area, and I don't know anything about other places. If you insist that there are other humans here, you can return it to this emperor first and then look elsewhere. This emperor will definitely not stop you," the Monkey King said anxiously. Lu Xingqian whispered, "Looks like it won't say anything. Then let's go, don't waste time," Qin Feiyang said in a low voice, and the two of them soared into the air and flew forward. The Monkey King hurriedly followed behind them. Lu Xingqian turned his head to look and frowned. "It doesn't seem to be a solution for it to keep following us like this. We can't beat it, and we don't dare to kill it. What else can we do? We can only let it follow us." Qin Feiyang was helpless. Suddenly, his eyes flashed and he asked, "Is Ren Duxing an alchemist?" "Yes." Lu Xingqian nodded and said, "And Uncle Ren is also a top-grade alchemist. Of course, when I first stepped onto the path of alchemy, he was the one who guided me in alchemy." "What?" Qin Feiyang's gaze trembled. Lu Xingqian frowned and wondered. "What are you thinking? Are you suspecting that Uncle Ren is refining pills for these beasts?" Qin Feiyang said, "This is not impossible." "Impossible. When Uncle Ren left back then, he didn't have the alchemy fire on him, so he couldn't refine pills at all," Lu Xingqian said flatly. Qin Feiyang said, "How many years have passed? He didn't have the alchemy fire back then, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't have it now." "I still don't agree. Because if the person refining the pills is really Uncle Ren, when we fight with the black stone apes, he will definitely appear and meet us." Lu Xingqian shook his head. Qin Feiyang said, "I'm just guessing." In the jungle below, there were many black stone apes, who were eyeing the two of them covetously. There were even many apes that ran out to block the way, but they were all retreated by the Monkey King. An hour later, a desolate desert entered their line of sight. The two of them stood above the jungle and scanned the desert, their eyes full of surprise. How could this be? This was a verdant land, and that was a barren desert. Wasn't the change too big? Qin Feiyang turned to look at the Monkey King and said, "Why are there two different places?" The Monkey King shook his head and said, "I don't know either." Lu Xingqian frowned and said, "Haven't you been living here all the time? How can you not know?" "That's right. But I really don't know how this place was formed," the Monkey King said. Qin Feiyang asked, "Then what's in this desert?" The Monkey King said, "I don't know either." "You don't know?" The two of them looked at each other and couldn't help but frown. A moment later, Qin Feiyang said, "Although there are unknown risks in the desert, there is also an advantage. There is no shelter, and the field of vision is wide, so it is easy to search." Lu Xingqian nodded. "Don't stop. Fly directly. Also, pay attention to the cliffs on both sides and see if there are any caves," Qin Feiyang reminded. Then he used the phantom steps and rushed away without looking back. Lu Xingqian also used the mysterious steps and followed closely behind Qin Feiyang. Damn it! The Monkey King was so angry that he stomped his feet. He looked at the desert and hesitated for a moment, then finally followed. After flying for about an hour and seeing that there was no danger, Qin Feiyong and the Monkey King gradually relaxed their vigilance. However, not long after, the yellow sand below began to roll, as if something was wandering in the sand.
What's going on?
Qin Feiyong and the Monkey King were surprised.
Could it be the sand whale?
Qin Feiyong shouted. Don't look, let's go. The two of them were as fast as lightning. The rolling yellow sand below also began to move. In the end, it even set off a sand wave dozens of feet high, covering the sky and the earth. The injuries were extremely shocking. Lu Xingchen said in a low voice. It seems that there are a lot of ferocious beasts lurking in the desert, and they have already targeted us. Qin Feiyong said. Get ready to attack. There was no shelter. Although the field of vision was wide, flying high in the sky was also a big target.
Crash.
Suddenly, a sand wave suddenly rose, hundreds of feet high. Following closely, a giant python rushed out of the sand wave, opened its bloody mouth, revealing white fangs, and went straight for Qin Feiyong and the Monkey King.
What kind of ferocious beast is this?
Lu Xingchen's eyes widened. The giant python's body was hundreds of meters long, and it was as thick as a dustpan. Its whole body seemed to be cast from yellow sand. If one didn't look carefully, they wouldn't notice it at all when mixed with the yellow sand. That being said, Qin Feiyong did not make a move. Seeing this, Lu Xingchen stared blankly and asked strangely, You're just going to watch the show like this?
I have to keep an eye on the Monkey King.
Only you can do it. Qin Feiyong glanced at the Monkey King behind them. If the Monkey King took advantage of this situation, they would all be finished.
Sure enough, you're smart.
Lu Xingchen gave him a thumbs up. But just as he was about to make a move, the 5-winged sand pythons directly drilled into the yellow sand and disappeared from their sight.
What's going on?
Lu Xingchen was a little confused.
Don't worry about them.
Let's go. Qin Feiyong shouted in a low voice. Whoosh! The two of them sped up, like two bolts of lightning, violently sweeping through the void. Boom! Crash! But in less than 10 breaths, as far as the eye could see, the yellow sand was tumbling. Waves of sand surged violently. At this moment, the void was submerged by the yellow sand. Oh no, they're going to find help! Qin Feiyong exclaimed. Hiss! Sure enough, among the sand waves, the winged giant pythons constantly swept out, densely packed. There were at least 300 of them. Seeing this, behind them, the Monkey King's eyes flickered. Qin Feiyong shouted, You open the way, I'll cover the back. Lu Xingchen nodded. His battle chi surged and transformed into a terrifying hurricane that whistled forward. More than 10 winged sand pythons revealed a fierce look, simultaneously raising their giant tails to attack the hurricane. Boom! A loud explosion was heard, shaking the heavens and the earth. The hurricane was forcefully shattered. The giant tails of the winged sand pythons were also torn open, blood staining the sky. But it was obvious that they all had the strength of a 9-star combat emperor. Humans, you all deserve to die. One of the winged sand pythons shouted. In an instant, the surrounding winged sand pythons opened their wide mouths, spitting out a transparent saliva. Be careful. The saliva contains a strong poison. With our current cultivation, we'll definitely die if we touch it. Qin Feiyong shouted. But one must know that there were more than 300 winged sand pythons here. If they spat out saliva together, it would be enough to form a large waterfall. The two of them had nowhere to run. Lu Xingchen said in a deep voice, I can't use my battle technique now, you'll have to deal with it. Because of the wind, the saliva would splatter everywhere, making it easier to stick to the saliva. Sigh. Qin Feiyong sighed deeply. The 9-leaf fire lotus appeared out of thin air, and waves of fire immediately surged. Boom! In the next moment, with the two of them as the center, the waves of fire surged in all directions. The terrifyingly high temperature quickly evaporated the saliva. However, there were still a few drops of saliva that escaped the evaporation of the waves of fire. Like a few arrows, they instantly stuck to Lu Xingchen's hand. Immediately, his skin began to fester. His lips also instantly turned black. He could not help but wail in pain. Damn it! Qin Feiyong cursed inwardly. He took out the Shui and decisively cut off Lu Xingchen's arm. Blood immediately gushed out. However, the blood was as black as ink, and it was even steaming with black smoke. Swoosh. However, at the same time, the Monkey King behind them suddenly went berserk. Like a bolt of lightning, it instantly landed behind Qin Feiyong. Its huge hand, which was the size of a dustpan, grabbed Qin Feiyong. Then, it held Qin Feiyong's entire body firmly in its hands. "You're still being dishonest." Qin Feiyong was seething with anger. He exerted all his strength. However, the Monkey King's strength was too great. He could not break free at all. Moreover, he was held in the Monkey King's hand, including his arm and the Shui. Hence, he could not use the Shui. The Monkey King roared, "Hand it over to me at once, or I'll crush you. If you crush me, it'll die as well." Qin Feiyong sneered. Stubborn. The Monkey King's eyes shone fiercely. It exerted a little force, and Qin Feiyong's bones, apart from his head, were all broken. The intense pain caused his face to contort. As for Lu Xingchen, he could not save him now, because the venom of the winged sand python was too terrifying. Although Qin Feiyong cut off his arm in time, the venom had already mixed into his blood, and his consciousness was dizzy. Even the poison was attacking his heart. What should I do? Countless thoughts flashed through Qin Feiyong's mind. At this time, he must be calm. Otherwise, once he lost his mind, he would definitely die. The situation at this time could be said to be hanging by a thread. Suddenly, his eyes flashed with a cold light. With a thought, the pangolin appeared without any warning. "Catch it!" Qin Feiyong roared. With a thought, a rib appeared. When the pangolin saw this situation, it knew what to do. It grabbed the rib and slammed it on the Monkey King's head. Immediately, the Monkey King was smashed to the point of seeing stars. The hand that grabbed Qin Feiyong also loosened a little. Still not letting go, the pangolin roared, grabbed the rib again, and smashed it on the other 3 heads of the Monkey King like lightning. Bang bang bang. The 4 heads of the Monkey King began to feel dizzy. The huge hand that grabbed Qin Feiyong finally loosened. But at the same time, the Monkey King raised his other arm and slammed it on the pangolin. The pangolin was smart. It had already expected this. It quickly moved its body and narrowly avoided this dangerous attack. But even so, the palm wind sent it flying. Its skin and flesh were lacerated. After all, it was only a 2-star war emperor now. The gap between it and the Monkey King was too big. Even if it was just a palm wind, it was still fatal. His consciousness was being swallowed by the darkness. Moreover, the winged sand python once again spat out a wave of venom. It covered the sky and the earth, terrifying one's mind. But at this time, Qin Feiyong finally escaped. Without hesitation, he waved his hand and sent Lu Xingchen to the ancient castle. Following closely, he endured the intense pain and rushed towards the pangolin. At the same time, the 9-leaf fire lotus erupted with a monstrous wave of fire, drowning the void. A large part of the saliva instantly evaporated. But there was too much saliva and it couldn't evaporate all of it. A drop of saliva landed on Qin Feiyong's leg. He could clearly feel a terrifying poison rapidly spreading throughout his body. His skin instantly turned pitch black. His life was in danger. Qin Feiyong gritted his teeth and endured the heart-wrenching pain. He raised his broken arm and swung the Shui. His thigh was directly cut off. Pitch-black blood sprinkled down like rain. But the remaining poison quickly spread throughout his body. His consciousness was also dizzy. Roar! However, misfortune never came alone. At this time, the Monkey King woke up. It roared angrily and crossed the void, charging towards Qin Feiyong. Its body was overflowing with hostility. Qin Feiyong's body and mind tensed up. Cold sweat broke out. He bit his tongue hard to maintain his consciousness and roared, "Pangolin, come here." The roar was like thunder, entering the pangolin's mind. Immediately, the pangolin quivered. Its consciousness that was swallowed by the darkness suddenly woke up. Without the slightest hesitation, it immediately dragged its seriously injured body and rushed towards Qin Feiyong. Qin Feiyong also flew towards it. The distance between the man and the beast was only 100 meters. But at this moment, in their eyes, it was like a gap that was difficult to cross. Those winged sand pythons spat out the third wave of saliva. Their target was not Qin Fei Yang, but the pangolin. The Monkey King's target was Qin Fei Yang. The pangolin anxiously roared, "You can't save me. Go. No. Since you followed me, I can't leave you behind." Qin Fei Yang shook his head. Clang. 9 fire lotus leaves fell at the same time and bombarded the Monkey King behind. Explode. As it approached, Qin Fei Yang roared. The 9 leaves exploded, giving birth to an apocalyptic energy that turned into a giant wave that swept out in all directions. The saliva that rushed towards the pangolin was all evaporated in an instant. But this did not stop the Monkey King from advancing. It only made it pause. All of this happened too fast. Chapter 484. A distance of 50 meters could be covered in a few steps. However, at this moment, for Qin Fei Yang and the pangolin, it was a line of life and death that was difficult to approach. The pangolin angrily said, "I told you to leave, so leave quickly." The Monkey King was already behind Qin Fei Yang, and it was only a few meters away. With Qin Fei Yang's current state, it was impossible to escape. But he couldn't give up. It was even more impossible to abandon the pangolin and escape alone. Clang! A red battle sword emerged from behind him. Roar! Following closely, a flaming beast shadow roared out. One sword and one beast carried a never-say-die belief as they charged towards the Monkey King. An ant trying to shake a tree. The Monkey King's eyes were filled with disdain. With a slap of its big hand, it directly smashed the battle sword and the beast shadow into pieces. Puff! Qin Fei Yang was so angry that blood spurted out, and his injuries worsened. The pangolin angrily roared, "Leave quickly, do you want to die? Before I give up, don't give up either." Qin Fei Yang shouted as his consciousness continued to fade. He bit his tongue hard again, and his tongue was about to be bitten off. Blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth like a stream. His entire face had been distorted. Looking at Qin Fei Yang, who was willing to risk his life to save him, the pangolin's heart was sour, and tears could not stop flowing out of his eyes. At this time, the distance between the man and the beast was only 20 meters. However, the Monkey King had also come behind Qin Fei Yang, and was very close. "Don't even think about escaping today." It raised its huge hand and once again grabbed towards Qin Fei Yang. Right now, it did not dare to really kill Qin Fei Yang, but as long as it caught Qin Fei Yang, all the problems would be solved. Roar! But at this time, a loud dragon roar sounded, shaking the void and the earth. Then, a vast dragon might, like a volcanic eruption, crazily rolled out in this place. The winged sand pythons around suddenly trembled, and a strong fear emerged from the depths of their hearts. Even the Monkey King's face changed color and retreated without hesitation. 4 pairs of eyes and 8 pupils constricted together. This was an innate fear. The dragon was the king of all beasts, and its dignity was inviolable. Whether it was the dire beasts of today or the descendants from 10,000 years ago, they were all instinctively afraid of it. The Monkey King and the winged sand pythons couldn't figure it out. How did this human suddenly burst out with dragon's might? Qin Fei Yang wanted to summon the purple gold dragon soul, but seeing the situation, he decided against it. After all, the purple gold dragon soul was too shocking. If news of this spread, who knew what kind of storm it would cause? As long as he could intimidate the Monkey King and the winged sand python, everything would be fine. And now was the opportunity. Qin Fei Yang and the pangolin quickly converged. Not good. The expression of the Monkey King drastically changed. His might gushed forth as he lunged towards the human and beast. "Damned monkey, you'll regret this." Qin Fei Yang sneered, grabbed the pangolin beast, and disappeared without a trace. "Damn it!" The Monkey King howled in anger as its baleful aura soared to the heavens. The surrounding winged sand pythons all hid far away, not daring to approach it. Whoosh! But at this time, with the sound of something breaking through the air, another winged sand python landed in front of the Monkey King. Its body was very small, only more than 1 meter long, but its body was covered with yellow scales, revealing a hard texture. "Greetings, my king." The surrounding winged sand pythons all lowered their heads, looking extremely respectful. That's right. It was the ruler of this desert, the Sand Python King. The Sand Python King looked at the Monkey King, with its long and narrow snake eyes shining with cold light, and said, Monkey, what was that dragon's might just now? The Monkey King replied, I don't know, but I'm sure that the human called Qin Fei Yang is not simple.
Qin Fei Yang?
The Sand Python King was confused. They entered here 4 months ago. Countless of my monkeys and grandchildren have been killed by them. The most important thing is that the self-proclaimed holy monkey also fell into their hands. The Monkey King continued to transmit his voice, his eyes as gloomy as water.
What?
The Sand Python King's expression changed, and he also said secretly, You let them take the holy monkey, what are you doing? His tone was quite angry.
I didn't want to do that.
But they are really cunning. Furthermore, that Qin Fei Yang possessed a dagger that could easily break through ice. He also possessed a bone that could shatter ice. In addition, he has a treasure that can hide. As long as he hides, I can't even sense where he is.
Tell me, what can I do to them?
The Monkey King roared. The Sand Python King was silent for a while, and then asked, What is their purpose of coming here?
To find someone. The Monkey King said.
The Sand Python King's pupils contracted, and he said in a low voice, Who?
Him.
The Monkey King transmitted his voice secretly. The Sand Python King said in surprise, Impossible, how do they know where he is? The Monkey King shook his head and said, I don't know. It seems that this matter is more complicated than I thought. But no matter what, we can't let them leave alive. Because of the existence of the canyon, we can't let the people outside know about our existence. We can't let them take the holy monkey away. The Sand Python King said. Don't worry, they can't run away. According to my observation, although Qin Fei Yang's space treasure can hide, it can't be moved. As long as we stay here, they will come out to beg for mercy sooner or later. The Monkey King transmitted his voice, and his eyes flashed fiercely. Can't be moved? The Sand Python King's eyes lit up, and he sneered, Very well, I would like to see who can outlast the other. Immediately, under its order, the winged sand pythons around entered the yellow sand and disappeared. Only the Sand Python King and the Monkey King were here. At the same time. Inside the castle. The moment Qin Fei Yang, Lu Xingchen, and the pangolin beast entered the ancient castle, their vision turned dark and they fell unconscious on the ground. No one cared about Lu Xingchen. But when Qin Fei Yang and the pangolin fell, Lin Yi, Fatso, Lu Hong, and Luo Chenxue were shocked. Fatso and Lu Hong were the first to get up. They ran to Qin Fei Yang and the pangolin, squatted on the ground, and checked their injuries. Lin Yi and Luo Chenxue also got up and stood beside Qin Fei Yang. Their faces were full of worry. After a few seconds, Lu Hong took out a healing pill and put it into the pangolin's mouth. Then, she got up and walked to Fatso and asked, How is Qin Fei Yang? Fatso frowned and asked, What about the pangolin? Lu Hong said, It is just seriously injured and unconscious. I have given it a healing pill. Its life is not in danger. Fatso sighed, The pangolin is fine, but the boss's situation is not good. When Lin Yi heard this sentence, her face suddenly turned pale. She said anxiously, How is Brother Fei Yang? Fatso looked up at her and sighed. The boss's injury is not serious, but the toxin has entered his heart.
What?
Luo Chenxue, Lin Yi, and Lu Hong immediately felt as if they were struck by lightning. Their bodies and minds trembled. Fatso said, Fortunately, the boss cut off his thigh in time. Otherwise, he would be dead now. Lu Hong said angrily, Don't talk nonsense. Just tell us if there is a way to detoxify. Now, she was also in a mess.
Yes.
Detoxification pill. But the general detoxification pill definitely won't work. Fatso took out a medicinal pill with 2 elixir patterns and said worriedly, I just hope this detoxification pill is effective. After that, he put the detoxification pill into Qin Fei Yang's mouth. Boss, Fat Lord still wants to be the protector general of the state. You can't die now. Fatso retracted his arm and muttered secretly. He turned to look at Lu Hong and said, Give Lu Xingchen a detoxification pill too. Lu Hong turned around and walked toward Lu Xingchen. Brother Fei Yang. Lin Yi squatted next to Qin Fei Yang. She reached out and stroked Qin Fei Yang's dark face. Her heart felt like it was being cut by a knife, and tears gushed out like a spring. Fatso got up, walked to Luo Chenxue's side, and watched this scene silently. After Lu Hong gave Lu Xingchen a detoxification pill, she turned around and came to Fatso's side. Her eyes were a little wet. but she tried hard to restrain herself. Suddenly, she turned to look at Fatso and asked, "Do you have a blood-generating pill?" Blood-generating pill. Fatso was taken aback and asked, "Why do you need the blood-generating pill?" Lu Hong said, "Qin Feiyong's blood has toxins. If the blood is drained, he should recover faster." Fatso slapped his head and said angrily, "Why didn't Fat Lord think of it?" He hurriedly took out the Chenkuan pouch and searched for a moment. His eyes suddenly lit up, and he took out 5 blood-generating pills. Then, he took out another dagger and walked to Qin Feiyong's side. He urged Yi quickly move aside. Lin Yi retreated aside obediently. Fatso first gave Qin Feiyong a blood-generating pill, then cut Qin Feiyong's wrist with the dagger. Pitch-black blood immediately flowed out of the wound. A pungent stench quickly spread in the castle. Lin Yi said worriedly, "Fatso, is it okay for you to bleed like this?" Fatso smiled and said, "Don't worry. With the blood-generating pill, there is no problem at all." After thinking about it, Fatso added, "Although the venom of the winged sand python is very toxic, it is still a lot worse than the black evil spirit's poison. The black evil spirit's poison can't kill boss, let alone this thing." In fact, he was also nervous in his heart. He said so just to comfort Lin Yi and Luo Chenxue. Time passed quickly. 2 days passed. In the past 2 days, Lin Yi, Lu family, and Luo Chenxue stayed close. Fatso also bled Qin Feiyong 10 times. The originally dark blood had finally returned to normal. Qin Feiyong's breath gradually stabilized. Fatso looked at Qin Feiyong's situation and smiled at Luo Chenxue and others. "Boss should be fine. You all go and cultivate. Don't waste time." Lin Yi said, "You all go and cultivate. I will take care of Brother Feiyong." "All right." Fatso thought for a while and nodded with a smile. After giving Qin Feiyong a healing pill and regeneration pill, he got up and walked to the corner to check the injuries of the pangolin beast. It hasn't woken up yet. This guy is seriously injured. Damn monkey, just you wait. I will cripple you sooner or later. Fatso's eyes flashed with a shocking cold light. He sat cross-legged next to the pangolin beast and began to cultivate. Everything is because of strength. If I have enough strength, how can everyone fall into the current situation? Luo Chenxue and Lu Hong glanced at Qin Feiyong and also entered close cultivation. If one looked closely, one would find that Lu Hong's expression had a piercing coldness. The next day, the pangolin beast finally woke up. Seeing that Qin Feiyong's situation had stabilized, it immediately began to close cultivation. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.